Behind the wheel. Episode 31. The original. The OG. Pop, 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 pop. Never got a copy too clever to mimic. I've been a lane, then I finish it in a minute. Here come the king of thunder, load the war on the dash. Viking King gaming, and I'm built for the crash. 925 Moto, leather, grit and flame. Danger close, racing, say my name. Say my name. Lightning and thunder when I roll through the fog. Sim racing brothers, I don't break, I just hog. Hands stay steady, eyes on the line. Steel in my chest and lightning on my spine. One more turn, then I let it go. You hear that roar before I even show. King of thunder, King of thunder. Lord of war, Lord of war. Behind the wheel, behind the wheel. Episode 31, episode 31. OG, OG, never a copy. OG, OG, never a copy. OG, OG, never a copy. Woke up in a new Bugatti, shotgun in the seat, ride in with the heat on. I don't miss a beat in the DOF, no thotty in a frame, just to roll the code and the pressure in the game. I came from the sim, now the real thing trembles. Palm to the wheel as the whole pack levels. Back in King Gaming, got a cold front grin. If you walk that crown, better all in, all in. Hands stay steady, eyes on the line. Steel in my chest and lightning on my spine. One more turn, then I let it go. You hear that roar before I even show. King of thunder, King of thunder. Lord of war, Lord of war. Behind the wheel, behind the wheel. Episode 31, episode 31. OG, OG, never a copy. OG, OG, never a copy. OG, OG, never a copy. Black top prophecy, white knuckle truth. I don't chase the crowd, I break right through. 925 Moto, feel that engine bite. Danger close, racing and I'm gone by night. King of thunder, King of thunder. Lord of war, Lord of war. Behind the wheel, behind the wheel. Episode 31, episode 31. OG, OG, never a copy. OG, OG, never a copy. OG, OG, never a copy. Behind the wheel.
What's up, y'all? What's going on, man? It's your boy VKG back in the chair, back in the spotlight, back with episode 31. Today is July 2nd. It is 2 days before the holiday, so we thought we'd get it cracking. Had a couple weird days off, and it was crazy. I was talking to Moto, man. I was like, yo, I think we could do this. Actually, he was like, dude, let's do the episode because we've been planning this for a while. We wanted to talk to you guys about the rigs, about CES, about all the cool things that we've been doing, like the doors that we've unlocked through the collaboration, just kind of putting our heads together. There's a whole bunch of other people behind the mix. I see you, Noodle. I see you, German Kiwi. I see you, Monkey King. I see you, Onions. I see you guys. I appreciate you guys for being here. We have a very, very, very special guest today. This guy has, I don't know, he's like family. He has a household name. My daughter loves him. Every time she hears his voice, she was like, is that Moto? And then it was funny. She asked her friends, she asked people, like, do you have a friend named Moto? It's crazy. It's like she thinks that all guys should have a Moto. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you my friend Moto, our boy, your guys' DCR community leader, Mr. 925 Moto. What's up, dog?
What's going on, bro? How you guys doing, man? How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's good to see you, man. It's been a minute.
Good to see you, bro. Good to see you, man. It's good to get the face to face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's like all the time through chat it's not enough, man. It's not enough. No. Sometimes you got to sit down, you got to laugh together, you got to cry together, you got to argue together. We spend enough times on the phones collaborating and kind of butting heads and figuring the next level, the next tier up that we can do with these platforms. So it's good that we're going to be able to talk to the community today, share a little bit. You got a lot of crazy, exciting things going on, man. I'm excited to check it out. But take a moment, check out the people in the community right now. It's a lot of your peeps, and actually your co-captain of Danger Close.
Yes, I see him right there. What's up, Noodle? How you doing, brother? I see German Kiwi in here, Horn of Plenty, Monkey King. Shout out to DCR Monkey King. No, you guys are all legends, man. Shout out to Viking King Gaming too, number one, man. Like right out of the gate. Like obviously, without you, I mean, I probably wouldn't be doing a lot of what I'm doing. You were a big motivation for me. So I think a lot of you guys know that out there too. So shout out to
Appreciate
you, man, for real. I appreciate. I'm glad that you're letting me do this with you, bro.
Appreciate it, man.
Means a
I
lot to me.
wouldn't be here. Honestly, I'm shouting out to Simbros, man. I wouldn't even be in the position I was last year that kind of like launched this whole I don't even know what happened last year, but we got our heads together last year after the expo and we're like, we could do some damage, man. We could change some things. And the way that we think and what we do in real life, we're like, how do we apply what we do in real life to our little corner of the world in YouTube? And then because of who we are, how do we bring people with us? So before we get into all that, dude, super excited to talk about that. You're tuning in from Cypress, Texas. I think it's hot for both of us right now.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it's hot out today.
So
It's
I'm
hot out
gonna
every day in
I don't
Texas.
even got to ask about the weather. I always I try to figure out, what it's like in different parts of the world. One of my favorite things about YouTube is the worldwide network. Like I have no problem giving YouTube 30% of what I get because like this platform is amazing. What what's your favorite thing about being on YouTube?
I mean, easily the community, man. I mean, it's really about the outreach. There's so many times that I'm kind of blown away by like, I'm just this guy in the United States, but I'm talking to people that are living outside the United States, that I mean, this worldwide, kind of outreach where you get to meet some of the most amazing people really out there that also share a passion that I have. So it's that common ground where I mean, you really find out that, a lot of people are really more alike than you think, and in most ways, and I would say just, having the ability to form real friends. I mean, and not just, do something that is kind of trivial just for the sake of doing it.
Hell yeah, dude. That's my favorite thing as well. I think it's probably the coolest thing in the world this day and age to be able to sit in your living room or in your house or wherever your game room is and connect with all these people. And because
Yeah.
of technology, like I mean, growing up, bro, we were talking about this, like how you made bros, like how friends became friends. And it was like, oh, dude, you got a bike? I got a bike. Let's go ride our bikes, around the neighborhood. You knew where everybody was at because of the pile of bikes sitting out in the front yard. If someone got a video game system, it was like, dude, I'm gonna bring my controller. I have one too, and it was like kind of, and I think that's why video games only came with one controller, so that you could like come together with somebody else. But that was a lot of shoulder time, and nowadays, I think after COVID, dude, so changed the world where we spend a lot of times in our homes, but we're still seeking that connection.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, big time. Big time. I mean, yeah, it's definitely, I mean, even when I started doing YouTube, it wasn't sim racing. It was actually I had bought a new motorcycle that was like super obscure. Not a lot of people had it, and especially in the United States, it was really popular in Europe. So I was like, you know what, being the guy that has one in the States, I'm gonna start this channel and show people about this motorcycle, and really quickly had all of a sudden like a bunch of people that I didn't know. I mean, I remember when I hit like 60 subscribers, dude, it blew my mind. I celebrated at 100, like, because I had no idea that 100 different people shared the same exact passion I had, and I mean, when I thought about a room of 100 people, it was like, dude, that's a lot of people, like, I mean, this is pretty crazy.
That's how I
And
think. Like if I'm talking to a dozen people, if it's 12 people were sitting here watching me play this video game, I'd be pretty nervous.
dude, tell me about it. That's exactly how I feel. It's like, okay, some people get lost in the sauce about like you need thousands of people or hundreds of people, and it's like, no, man, like I feel like if I was talking to 12 different people at once or 15 different people at once, like that's actually a lot of people, and that requires a lot of focus too. And yeah, it's not as easy as it looks, that's for sure. But no,
And at
it's
this
it's the
point, you
best
kind
thing
of know
about it.
what that is like. Not only so we've both had some experience with our whole occupational career path has been about people outside of you being an army veteran and serving your country, and we'll definitely get into that because that's one of the most amazing things about you. But you're constantly around people, you're in sales. I'm in, I work with people. I'm in behavioral health, and you kind of develop this, this way to kind of build bonds and kind of build friendships and at least trust and respect, right? Nobody's going to buy anything from you unless they trust you, right? And
Bingo.
nobody's going to listen to you on how, you should change your behavior or correct something unless they trust you. So bond building is very important, in this community phase. And somehow you've been able to take all these skills and like create. We were talking about what 925, who 925 Moto is, who Viking is, who Jesse is, who Travis is, and how we kind of manage all of that. So before we
Yeah.
get too deep, like tell us a little bit about lifestyle. I know you're a family man, husband, father. Kind of what do you do outside of the community?
Well, yeah, definitely husband, father, first, that's for sure, and God. I'm, big believer in that, number one. But I love to fish. I'm a regular guy, I mean, I love to ride motorcycles. I like to fish, I like to be outside with my kid, we like to play catch. I mean, I'm a regular American dude, man. I like to barbecue, like that kind of stuff. I mean, I also just, I have this passion for engines and wheels and things that go fast. I don't know what it is, but it's been like that since I was a kid. I've been on a motorcycle since I was 5 years old, and never really looked back from there. So it's all about, if I could find something that that goes fast and it's fun to ride, man, I'm in. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, I mean, outside of this, I'm a regular old boy.
And I think that's one of the reasons we kind of came together in this. I remember you were telling me actually the other day, it was like when you first saw saw me on stream and you were like, look at this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
us
yeah,
tell us a little bit
yeah.
about when you
Oh,
uncovered, my channel and kind of dude, that's such a good funny story because me and Meese were
well,
talking about
yeah.
it again.
I mean, let me humble myself real quick for sure, because they say don't judge the book by its cover, but I'll admit, I turned on YouTube one day, and for some reason you were there, and I turned it on and was like, "Who's this frat boy?" Like, "Who's this guy?" Because I mean, I was watching Eric B the Realist at the time a lot, and
Yeah. Shout
obviously
out to
like
Eric B.
Rory, shout out Eric B for sure. And because of that, I saw you and I was like, who's this dude? But then as soon as I heard you start talking, being, I am in sales, so building rapport really quick is kind of my gig. And I could tell that you were being genuine, that it wasn't forced. It wasn't something that you were just saying because people were watching you. It was like, oh, this is who this dude really is. And it, I mean, immediately I felt pretty bad because I was like, guy, but then it was like, no, me and this guy actually have a lot in common. And that was
Yeah.
where I kind of lurked for a little while too. I didn't say anything. I wasn't really, it was in my beginning phases also, like being in live streams a lot of the time. So I didn't really know, like, because I wasn't a part of the community, like, okay, do I talk? Do I not talk? Kind of thing. But um, I mean, as soon as I introduced myself to you and I started really watching you, that was where I was like, okay, like, this is somebody that I can really align with. He and I have a lot in common without even knowing each other.
Yeah.
So, it was definitely, I was definitely humbled. That's
It
for
was
sure.
it was funny when I saw your channel for the first time, when I finally recognized it, I was like, here's a guy who gets it. Here's a guy who gets it. He looks like a complete a-hole when he races because we're so serious, right? And I'm so serious too. And
Yeah.
I get people like, "Are you mad?" Like, "No." And then are like,
Mm-mm.
"Oh, like I'm not a mean guy. Like I look mean when I'm concentrating."
Yeah.
Because
Same thing.
but it's because I get so into it, and that was one of the biggest challenges for me actually streaming in the first place. It was, how do I manage, my focus? Because I the way that I've trained and done everything in life, and I've tried to achieve professional standards in a few different things, right? And the only way
Mhm.
I've been able to do that is to hyper focus on that task, right? And to be able to channel all my attention into that task so I can potentially do my best with my optimal skill set. But if I'm distracted in any way, and you've trained in this, I'm sure, like, when you're focused on something, you can't you got to be aware, but you can't be distracted. So I'm good at being aware but not distracted. So chatting, every time I chat, I look over at chat, I find myself distracted from this, and it's something that I'm working on. But when I watch you, I see the same thing. Like, you have this focus. Like, is that is that something that you're intentionally doing, or are you do you generally want to be that damn good?
Well, I mean, a lot of it, I joined, for those that don't know, I was in the military for a while, and I joined pretty young. I was 17 when I joined the army, and turned 18 in basic training. And so a lot of my formative years were built around that lifestyle, and obviously, anybody that was in the military would know that, when you're down range, especially, man, it's turned on, everything's heightened to 11, and you are hyper focused. And once you kind of go down that path, it's actually hard to get away from it. And people that play sports, football players, baseball players, basketball players, they know what I'm talking about here because they have the same
Yeah.
thing. They focus on what they need to accomplish, and that's the goal, and that's their nothing is going to break them, not the crowd behind them, not the cheerleaders over there. It's all about this. And in sim racing, it's to be as good as I want to be, I have to be able to be focused. And unfortunately, when I'm locked in, I do kind of look mad, and I'm not. For everybody watching, I ain't
You're
mad,
not.
bro.
You're not.
Like,
No.
no, I'm not mad. It's
I'm
really
actually
just
happy. I
I'm really
found
doing
something that I could focus on that, and
bingo.
usually, and we were talking about being adrenaline junkies. Like, we're adrenaline junkies for some of the same ways and some of the different ways, but we got to go fast because we tap into that like elixir of energy that like that. But and I'm happy. That's what makes me happy. And I found something that I can do in my living room that used to be motorcycles and guns and explosions and all the things. Like, even though I wasn't in war, like I got plenty of I got plenty of my amendments in the garage, that
Hmm.
I like to go hunting and I like to do things like that. So, but those that's all rush, right? Like imitating the hunt. Like, we don't have to hunt in life. We can go to the grocery store, but to tap into our primal instincts as a man, I go and I get suited up. I cover myself in an animal's urine and I hide in the woods for several days so I can get that kill. You know what I mean? Like, so when we get addicted to this driving
Yeah.
thing, we were talking about like, why is this so addicting for guys like us and for a lot of people, but not just but for us. And it's, dude, it's intense, and we keep trying to find our ways to put in more intense. You've joined LMU and it's like these hypercars and all this speed, like, it what is it like when you finally find that tap into moment?
Well, I mean, especially coming from the military, that they kind of feed it to you when you're in. You don't really have to go very far to kind of get that from them. But getting out, it's really hard to find that avenue, where I'm going to get that same type of either excitement or a rush or, jump out of an airplane, you go skydiving a couple times to kind of find it. I mean, there's things you can do, to kind of feel that adrenaline, but got into motorcycling, that was a big one. My wife hated it. I mean, did not like the fact that I was riding bikes, So to find that outlet into something that is safe, I mean, completely safe and very, very,
Sometimes you
and
get hurt.
I mean, yeah, yeah. There's
Who
certain
just
injuries
got
that
hurt
come with it.
recently? Somebody just messed their hand up really bad.
I mean, it can happen, dude.
Look
Like
at who
that
we're
can happen.
talking
I'm not
to
sure. I'm not sure
just the
who that
other day
was.
on stream. Somebody like had to go to the doctor because they like dislocated their thumb or something.
Oh yeah, it was somebody in my stream actually that they were talking about that. Yeah, it was
I was like,
it
dude.
was a tear or something like that.
Yeah.
And we're like, bro, turn it down. Yeah,
Well, and
but
shout out to the equipment, man, because like actually this is one of your turning out to be one of your fortes here is you've had an amazing kind of run of rig, different generations of your rig as it's gone. And it's really cool because you can connect with a lot of people. But most recently you've got into some really powerful stuff, some really top of the line PXN. Shout out to PXN. You're
big
a
shout
new
out.
partner with PXN, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's pretty incredible, man. How it all happened, but yeah, big shout out to PXN too, for sure. You guys are legends. Thank you so much for everything you've already done for me and what we're about to continue to do. Um, but yeah, it's pretty incredible how it all happened, man. I mean, we can get into it. It's kind of a longer story for sure in
Yeah.
terms of
Once
it
we
starts about 8 months ago,
Yeah.
really, but it's something that yeah, I'd love to talk about it.
Well, I want to talk about kind of where we're after we get into kind of the origin story, I guess, with getting out to the expos and kind of exposing you to this whole. It's amazing when you get to a trade show and you see kind of all the workings because everybody's there, right? Everybody that we can think of is there, And it's not just like it really puts a face to almost each company. You meet like Bill with, Built PC, you meet, Mark and Igor with DOF, you meet Ish with, Moza, you meet all these people, and you realize like everybody's on a grind. Everybody's working their butt off.
Oh
And that
yeah.
was one of the themes of the whole thing podcast is, built, like you've been able to build this whole, kind of tier up system where you've gone through these different rigs and now you're being exposed to, the potential. Like what's it like actually getting to see the behind the scenes now in some of these expos and some of these relationships that you have?
It's I don't want to call it overwhelming, but then at the same time, I mean, it almost is just because of my passion for it, that everybody, I mean, there's quality everywhere, and that's the one thing that I discovered in doing these shows is, a lot of these guys, we get a little jaded in our opinions just because we like what we like. And that's fine, man. Like, there's nothing wrong with liking what you like. Logitech, Vanatech, Moza, it doesn't matter. They're all great. And to see really the behind the scenes and get to see how all of them actually work together. None of these guys are at war with one another. I mean, they're not, they're
Yeah.
all there together and it's a big collective. And just like how we all share the same passion, so do they. That's why they're doing it. That's why they started all these companies. And to get the ability to go do what I've been doing, with as young as the channel is, and how much I still have to learn in sim racing is, I mean, it's something I don't take for granted, man. It's the most extraordinary thing in the world, and everybody is so welcoming, just like the YouTube community in this, I mean, there's some bad eggs, in every batch, but majority of the time it's a very pleasant experience, and that's how it is over there too. So it's not overwhelming, but at the same time it is, just because you want to do a good job because you're working hard. It's not just go hang out and talk to people. I mean, you are really putting in some hours, and nothing's free. I'll say that very confidently.
No, 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 it is not. And you being, you're a big family man. Family comes first. Just knowing you personally, the sacrifices that you make. That again, people think flying out to Vegas for a week or going out to a trade show for a couple days is easy. I mean, it's putting in extra work while also working full time and take care of a
Oh yeah.
family full time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, man.
shout out to the wife and kid. Definitely, awesome to hear all the amazing things that they've been exposed to. Tell me a little bit about how you've been able to get, the wife into kind of racing and getting her on there. And you guys, every time
Oh.
I talk to you, she's right next to you. She's your buddy. It's like kind of how me and Misa are. Like, tell us a little bit about how that's makes it maybe a little bit easier, for you to kind of
Mhm.
do what you do.
Well, I mean, being friends with your spouse is the most important thing. Number one, you want to be. I mean, and we are, and she knows me, and she knows when I'm going through the motion, and she knows when I'm passionate about something. And when I first found sim racing, and I first got my first ever wheel, and I started doing it all the time, it was her. She's the reason why, I stream on on sim racing, at least. I already had a YouTube channel for the motorcycle stuff, but it was her that said, how come you don't stream all this on YouTube? Everybody else does. And my response was, well, I'm 35. Like that's why. Like I don't know. I have a full-time job. And it was her motivation that was just like, no, you should do it. Get the camera, get the computer, see if you like it. And ever since I started doing it, I mean, she has been a real driving force behind it, just because she believes in me and she wants me to be happy. And she knows that, number one, it's a lot safer than riding a motorcycle. She likes it a lot better just because I'm not out, ripping around. Because
Yeah.
I'll be honest, when I ride a motorcycle, it's, I don't want to,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
I like to feel it. You know what I
Speaking of
mean? So,
motorcycles too, you got to ride the brand new, like it hasn't, I don't even know if it's been released, but they got a motorcycle simulator coming out.
yeah, and I didn't post any pictures of it just because they're going to be changing it, so I don't want people to see, what it was at the expo and think that that's what it's going to be. But yes, I did get to try the motorcycle simulator, and I got to say, as a motorcyclist, uh, duck to water transition number one, guys. I mean, if you ride a motorcycle, this is something that you're going to want to look at, because you hop on it and it is, I mean, straight up like you're on the bike, number one. And it's going to be improved. They're in China right now, actually cranking out all the development and adding actual motors to it. So right now it's spring driven, but they will have actual DOF motor on it to actually help with that swing and really give you feedback, like we have in our rigs. So it's come October, they're going to start debuting it, and it's going to be incredible. $2,000
That's
apparent
wild. That's wild.
MSRP. Yeah,
Well,
2K.
I've seen a couple variations. I know DOF is kind of working on some projects with some guys. I think they're getting involved in a lot of things, so really excited to see kind of what they're
Yeah.
doing. We'll definitely talk about the DOF reality relationship and kind of how that all got
Mhm.
sparked. Again, going to trade shows, mixing and meeting Mark, and then Mark inquiring about wanting kind of to expand in this North American run, and then introducing you to Mark, and then really because you had all of this, it was the rally race. It was a perfect storm, really. It was like Mark, rally, Moto, H4 being launched for the rally community. Vegas is coming up. Like, it was surreal how everything got laid out. Like, I don't know if you want to jump into that now, but kind of tell us just really how the motion rig has kind of changed your life, and really the relationship with DOF reality altogether.
Well, that starts with you, man. I mean, if it wasn't for you, number one, this would not be a reality for me right now. Um, this I'm still kind of in shock by it just because of the natural way it happened. Because you're right, the everything that fell into place was like right place, right time, right thing you're doing, right frame of mind. Like it was, everything was really perfect in terms of that
See you,
alignment. There were
Grovers.
some things.
Appreciate you.
Oh wow! Shout out Grovers, man.
Shout
You're the
out
legend,
Grovers,
dog.
bro.
You're the legend.
Sorry to cut you off, man, but
No, look
that's
at
a
that. That
valid
guy's
reason. Like, dude,
that's
Grovers is
yeah,
one of the greatest people in the community. All he
legend
does is give, 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 give. And it's shout out to Grovers, bro. Shout out to the in the helmet. Make sure you guys check out the collaboration. The last episode, we didn't do a June episode just because some things fell through. Shout out to Bobby Vegas. It's good to see you out here. But
Yeah,
Bobby
shout out
Vegas
Bobby.
is going to be on the show. And he was supposed to be the June episode, but we definitely, glad to have Moto be able to fill in and get the July one knocked out. But shout out to Grovers. Go check out that podcast. It was really deep. It was really amazing. Men's mental health just ended. Moto and Grovers are actually going to be doing some projects together. So, big kudos to him, man. We appreciate you, Grovers. We respect you and your service.
Yes, sir.
Definitely an amazing person.
100%, man. Shout out to him.
But,
Definitely. He's a big motivation for me too,
oh
because
man,
we can get into the mental health stuff in a little bit. But to get back to to kind of the start of what we were doing, I mean, if I could tell the story for you, I mean, this would be a good story for you to tell
hey,
too. But you
it's your
called me,
platform.
you
It's your
called me
show,
one
big
day.
dog.
You called me one day and you said, "Hey, man," and it was funny because I remember I was talking to Noodle at the time. Actually, Noodle was in the conversation with us for a bit, and you had asked me, "Do you know about DOF reality?" And I had said, "Yeah, actually, like 100%." Um, and I had said I was actually going to buy one. Um, I had been looking at these things, guys, for quite a while, and I was going to buy one. And then unfortunately, my mother was diagnosed with leukemia last June. And once that happened, it was like, well, okay, there goes that money, because I'm going to be traveling a lot and I'm going to be doing all these things for her. So yeah, the fact that you had called me and said, "Hey, do you know about these guys?" It was random, I would say, because it was just out of the blue. But then at the
It
same
was
time, I know that you had kind of an epiphany because you hadn't talked with Mark first. You knew them well before I did. And you just, for some reason, I guess I popped into your head because of what I was doing with the rally thing. And obviously, we got in with them. We had that initial conversation with Mark. We're full transparency, you guys. I mean, when I first talked to DOF, was really just trying to save a little bit of money. Like I wasn't looking for a
yeah, I'll
sponsorship
jump
or
on
anything
the
like
phone
that.
with
I
these
thought
guys. I was gonna
I
get
was
one.
like, yeah, maybe I could like get a military discount or something like that.
Right.
You guys don't offer that on your website. So it was really about that. But then once we started talking with him, I mean, right out of the gate, it was like this guy has a plan. And Mark,
Yeah.
you know,
And
he
Mark
he
is
knew what
cool as
he wanted
hell,
to do.
guys. Like the people behind DOF are
Yeah,
awesome.
man.
And Mark, and
100%.
just a shout out to Mark. Like you guys need to what he's got a channel. We'll definitely get the channel in the description. But his flight simulator, he's got the DOF, what, the P6, right?
Oh yeah.
Amazing situation. But Mark was actually like a real life badass. He's like a drag racer and stuff. But it's
Yes.
you meet these people and you hear about these insane backgrounds, which is really awesome. But getting back to Mark, like once we all got on the phone, it was like this really awesome like synergy.
Yeah, I mean, right out of the gate, like it was real natural. It wasn't forced. And then, he had asked you and I, well, what do you guys want to do? Which was weird because it was like, well, what do we want to do? Like, I don't know. Like, well, what do you think we should do? And it just started kind of evolving in terms of brainstorming. It didn't happen overnight. On that phone
No.
call, he didn't say, "Hey, Moto, guess what you get?"
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like that
I think
at
it was
all. But it was
5-hour phone calls.
it was a lot, man. It took quite a bit. And then even when it happened, it was under the guise of a lot of certain stipulations that were going to occur. But I digress. It was just this thing that once Mark knew that you and I were legitimate in terms of
Mm.
how we were speaking, the things that we were saying to him, in terms of what we wanted to do and how we aligned ourselves. My goal in terms of, everybody watching right now, like really what I want to do is bring as many people into sim racing as I possibly can. People that don't know about it, people that do know about it but think it might be goofy. It's like, no, man, like you guys have to try this at least and realize what it can do for you up here. And for me, I'm a big advocate of that. So when I had said all that to Mark, that, well, this is why I do what I do, he really saw something in me.
Mm.
And you too, because yeah, you're doing the same thing. And I had said, a lot of what I'm doing is based off of him in terms of, you. And a couple phone calls go by, it's still talking about, what do we want to do and what are we really looking for? And at first it was like we were going to start a company with
Yeah.
these guys. We were going to start a sim arcade, and fill it with DOF reality and be the North American distributor. And these are things that are still on the table,
Yeah.
but are much more solidified now just because of the relationship that we already had. But it's something that
I think
eventually, go ahead.
I think the pivotal moment was when it wasn't about, it was, we were like, no, like we weren't asking for something. It was do this for
No,
we it was we will do this and do this for this person. When I talked to Mark, it was like, no, 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 I don't want the rig. This guy over here, this guy's playing
yeah,
rally.
I remember that.
This guy's ripping, like he needs to be in that rig. This rig is designed, and we were getting, state of the art rig that had never even been seen before. We had the rig for 2 months and we couldn't even talk about it. You know what I mean? It was like
Hmm.
you couldn't even reveal it. It was like sitting on, pins and needles, but it was like do this for them. And I think that was one of the biggest things, and one of the points that we've been trying to tell people is there's all this. Hey, what can you give me? What can you give me? I've done
Yeah,
this. I look like this. I have this many subs. I have this many people. Give me, give me, give me this entitlement. You know what I mean? We're kind of talking
it's gonna
about that. It was like,
it's gonna stop.
dude, those guys, they don't want to hear it because that's all
Nope.
it is. As soon as you get to know these people, you realize the barrage, even for you, like, and,
Dude.
and a little bit for me, but the barrage of like, hey, what can you do for me? And I think one of the
Yep.
biggest pivotal moments was it was what can we do for you? And I think that's what really attracted them.
Well, it was just, I believed in a lot of what he was saying. What he told me, how he aligned himself in terms of what he wanted to do with sim racing as well. In terms Mark, I'm talking about Mark right now. It's really about, it was like, yeah, no, like you and I can help platform this like out here, like because of what we do in life. Sim racing is not my job. It's just something I do. And with my job that I do, this is something that, man, we can help with this. And no, we never asked. I mean, I never asked them for a motion simulator. Like
Or
not one
two,
time.
or two.
No, like no way. Like I thought, I mean, with how much you have to invest in one of these, it was like, I mean, no, I had, I think 2,000 subscribers at the time, so it's still a relatively small channel.
Yeah.
I had just got monetized like 6 months prior to that, so it was something that, I didn't want to ask for anything. I
Mhm.
don't really like to ask for things even in life.
I don't even
I'm
like
not
to ask for
really a
subs.
yeah, I'm not really a handout guy. I don't ask for likes on my streams. I don't ask for people to hit the subscribe button, not because it's wrong that people do that. I just personality wise, like I don't do that.
Yeah.
Um, but when he said, and I'll never forget this, because we got on the phone with him and he said, "Okay, Moto, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna ship you the H4, and then we're gonna have you, because the whole thing was, you're going to have to come out to CES and actually debut the product for us, so it was all about, okay, we're going to ship you the product, and then we're going to have you come out, and at that point the conversation got flipped to, well, what if you shipped us two, and then, that way we could really promote the brand, and and they bit at that point, and it was a logistical nightmare, uh simply because they shipped you the four and me the three, and it needed to be flip-flopped at some point, but it was easier for you to get it to Vegas than it was for me to get it to Vegas. So it's definitely it was an adventure right out of the gate, and it was something that I was not prepared for. I I was very excited, number one, because it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna get a motion simulator. Like, you know, I uh, this is gonna be crazy. I've never used one before. I've never even sat in one of these things before. Like, what am I gonna do with this? Like, I hope I don't let these guys down. And I mean, you find out real quick how much it actually takes. When we
Yeah.
got out there, I met you at the airport. You came and picked
Dude,
me up,
trade show work is
and
no joke.
no, no, it is not, man. I mean, look at my face in that picture right there. It's like I look mad. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I just been up for
Oh,
14
I'm
hours.
actually one of the
Like,
happiest I've ever been.
yeah,
Like,
I'm like
I am
I'm living my dream.
freaking
I'm living my
stoked
dream
out.
right now. Yeah, but it's something that for me, it was just this immediate, like, okay, all these things are happening so fast. I mean, we're going from talking to this guy a month and a half ago to now I'm on an airplane flying out to Nevada to go do a promotion for a product I've literally never used. And you picked me up at the airport, and right out of the gate, it was like, okay, Batman and Robin, like, here
Yeah,
we go,
yeah.
like, let's get this, dude. Like, this is gonna be fun. And then right away, we hit a brick wall
Oh my
because
gosh.
neither of us understood
We
what was
stood in
about to
out we
happen.
stood in line for 3 hours
Dude,
waiting for our
checking in.
room. Literally, that
You
was
guys never
miserable.
stay. Never ever stay. What's that hotel called? I put it
The
out of my mind. The
Luxor.
Luxor. The
The
Luxor.
Luxor.
Never stay there.
Worst
It
hotel in
is
Vegas, hands
the
down.
energy. The energy in that hotel is nightmarish. And we had to stand in line for 3 hours to get a room. We got a room. It didn't have a fridge, if you
No
remember.
microwave,
And
no fridge,
no, yeah, no microwave, no fridge. So we
stains
had to
on
go back down.
everything.
Glitter.
The
There was
we couldn't
glitter everywhere.
stand in the room, like at the bed. You couldn't stand because
No.
it's just slanted. And
It
it's a
was, yeah, the
weird
ceiling's like
feeling,
this,
man.
yeah.
When you look over the ledge, it's like you want to jump off. And they don't tell. I read a stat that they don't actually document the deaths there as deaths or something because they're like suicides or death by choice or something. But it's something
Really?
like 14 a year.
What?
Yeah, and they just like close it
Holy
off and just
crap.
clean it up. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Look
They're
up the
gonna have
Luxor.
to
It's
clean it,
worth the
that's for
Google.
sure. Good God.
It's
Good
worth the
God, it's worth
Google.
the
The
Google.
other
It's
side
worth the
wasn't like
Google.
that. When Misa got there on Friday,
No.
like the other side wasn't like that at all. It was just like
Well, it's a
that
it's a
side.
tower. It's a tower, it's a
It's
rectangle tower. It's
the
normal
the
normal energy over
elevators.
there. Yeah, God, everything about that experience was terrible. We had to go back downstairs and wait in line for another hour to get a room, and I mean, it was a lot. And then when we got to the expo, this was really where I knew, like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Um, we get to the expo, and this is no offense to DOF Reality. The product was brand new. It was actually a prototype. I'm sitting in it. The first ever H4 is what I'm sitting in right now.
Yeah,
It's still
never
the
before
prototype
seen.
model. Um, the one that's actually released now does look a little bit different. So it's actually got the bottom of it is actually a little different. So I have a prototype. The power supply is a prototype, like everything about it. So when we got there, they had the boxes, but they had no directions. None. It was, here you go, put it together. And it was my responsibility to build it. And I remember, looking at them and going, hey, I don't have a plan spreadsheet. I don't know what to do here. Like, where do I even start? And they said, okay, hold on. They got with their guys overseas, and they sent me back a picture of it assembled. That was it. I had a photograph to build it off of, and
this isn't easy. I mean, it's once you
no,
with directions, it's like Legos, right? But it's not to say
correct.
that it's hard or difficult. Like I don't want people to be turned off, but you look at this rig and it's a box of stuff.
There's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot. There's a ton. And what's this do? And I mean, it's like, so okay, thousands of people are about to test this thing because we're going to be here for a week.
Mhm.
And I don't know how many people are going to come sit in this. And I got to build it right without directions. And that was where the mood kind of started to go down a little bit in terms of my morale, because all of a sudden my back was against the wall. And you and I started to butt heads a little bit right out of the gate. I mean, it was like, like you like to say, you put two wolves in a room together. What's
Yeah.
about to happen? And it was just, yeah, it was kind of a little clash at first, and that's normal. I think a lot of people develop friendships that way. There's some animosity at one point, and I'll be honest and say I wasn't being the nicest guy while I was there. My irritation was definitely showing. Thankfully, I'm in sales, so my ability to kind of wear the mask in
Yeah.
front of people, I could turn it on and I could smile. But I gotta say, like, looking back on that experience, I I have never worked harder for something like that is a hobby. Like,
Yeah.
it was like, man, like, I mean, am I even supposed to be doing this?
Yeah, we were
Like,
it was like
I don't
16,
really,
18-hour days, sleeping for 2 we
yeah,
slept 2 hours the first day.
yeah, I was spread pretty thin, man, pretty thin. Um, So you're saying, "Oh, look, I have extra bolts." Yeah, GT.
Yeah,
Exactly, dude. What's
bags
this
of
one
extra
do?
bolts.
Uh-oh, yeah. Well, I'll just put that one in my pocket and hope it doesn't
I
break,
think I saw did I see
but
Mrs. Moto in there? I saw Mr. GT78. Shout out to Mr.
yeah.
GC78.
Yes.
Another guy behind the scenes, man, that be doing the
Yes,
most.
sir.
Mrs. Moto, I saw her. Hopefully she got to see her whole segment about her. Good to see you, man.
I imagine she
Definitely
did.
her and Misa are driving force behind the two gentlemen you see before you. But getting back to, wolves being locked in the same room, um, you know, it was it was crazy because we've had all this contact and connection through phone conversations, through Discord, through all this sharing, our community overlaps, and then we get face to face, and it was super exciting. And I remember like being so excited and having this adrenaline rush and standing in that line and just being like, man, this is crazy. Going up to that room, having to go back down, it was just like walking, carrying our stuff, moving our stuff. You had to walk a half mile from the parking lot to get
Oh, yeah.
to the check-in to get I mean, it was legit like 30-minute walks in every direction. So if you made a mistake, it was like exclamated, exaggerated. We're tired, we're beat up. We have families at home. We have jobs that we took time and, off for this. And I think we had this certain expectation like, wow, this was going to be, fun. And there were
Yeah.
definitely things that I enjoyed about it. But when you go back and you look at the lives and you look at like the bags under our eyes and how tired we were, and shout out to Mark for doing this for a living, being able to kind of
Yeah, man.
set the bar for this. And it was like, look, we're getting ready to go at 6 a.m. And it was like, damn, like you're not going and enjoying the casino that night. You're not hanging out till, midnight,
No.
2 o'clock. You're trying to get in bed. You're getting out of the expo at like, 8 o'clock, it's over. And then you're staying there till 9, 10, fixing things, tinkering with things, making sure it's all ready to go, getting back to the hotels, the parking, all the crazy stuff that we had to go through. But if I had to go back, I'd probably do it again because, it's
Oh,
opened
yeah.
all these amazing doors. Like I want to share the graphic of you, rolling up on the Bugatti in the parking lot while I'm out parking the car, and just kind of
Yeah,
like you got the I don't want to say that you touched it because I don't want to get you in trouble, but
I
you
did.
you could have. Yeah.
I did. Definitely did. It's a $2 million car. I'm gonna touch it. Yeah,
Like,
it
and
was
then
something.
seeing all that stuff was nuts, dude. But I would do it all over again.
There it is.
And you're doing it all over again.
Yeah, no, it's. I remember that moment though, walking outside, and I remember I was kind of irritated because, like you said, it was like a half mile. This was like a mile walk from where we were to going to where you were parking the van. That was not a short distance. And I remember like being irritated because I had to go out there, and it was cold in Vegas too, and I wear shorts
Yeah.
all the time, so all I had was
So
shorts,
damn cold.
and I walk out there and I see that car, dude, and I mean immediately it was like, well, it's not such a bad day. Like, I mean, right out of the gate, I had never stood next to anything, handmade like that, that is that
Oh,
beautiful. And
gorgeous.
the fact that they let me walk up on it, I asked them like, "Hey, you think I can, get some shots of this?" And they were like, "Yeah, absolutely, man." Like they didn't care. So definitely put my hands on it for sure.
They did
Gently.
care when we jumped over the cones.
Well, once it was inside and they had it washed, it's pretty dirty right there, actually. It's got a lot of dust on it. But once they had it washed and we stepped over the do not step over sign, yeah, they had a problem with that. But at the same time, I mean, there wasn't nobody there. Come on, it was the end of the day. Like, let's go take this picture real quick. We didn't
We've
sit
had
in
some
it.
adventures, man. Like after, and so we get through this expo. We do a week of this expo, and I have a cool video here because one of the cool things about this expo is I think it was the last day. We're standing there. Moto's doing his thing. He's coaching people through this. He's running hundreds a day. Like I think we logged like almost 200 people each day just rolling through the rig. Lines of people rolling through the rig.
Mhm.
Absolute madness. And I'm standing there, and some of you guys were watching. I'm looking. I'm like, who is that? And mind you, this is CES, right? And it's a lot of Asian people, a lot of
Mhm.
doctors. I met doctors that were
Lawyers,
21,
doctors, yeah.
22 years old, like so many bright people. And I'm looking and towering over everybody. Like, and this guy's not small by any means. And I look over and I was like,
No.
and I tapped Moto. I was like, I think I just saw Master P. And he was like, huh? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go get him. So I run around and I take off. And it's funny because like the Pimax folks were there. Shout out to Pimax. I mean, having us as guests in that booth, the whole thing was set off by
Yeah.
Pimax. If you guys don't know, you got to check them out. The Pimax streams, the Pimax crystals. I don't care which ones you go to. It's absolutely amazing. And motion and VR is just the synergy is amazing. But
You're in the car.
I started running, and it was funny because like two Pimax folks, they came running with me. They're like, "Where are we going?" I was like, I saw Master P. They're like, who's Master P? And I was like, bout it, bout it. And you're like, no limit. And they're like,
They can
what?
say,
And I was like, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. So I run over and Hersey, his son, is sitting on like another computer and he's checking something out. And I'm like, yo, like Mr. Miller, like my name's Travis, I'm a big fan. I grew up with your music, and "Hey, is this your son?" Yeah. I was like, does he like VR and video games and stuff? He's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, you gotta come check out, we got these motion rigs over here. We're doing racing and in flight. And he was like, okay, cool. So and he literally like was so chill. He just kind of was like, cool, let's go from here. And we sat and we talked. It wasn't like, all right, I'll meet you over there. And so we walk over and we get him on the rig, and it's then I got to pass the torch to Moto, and it's like, hey, here's this guy, and it happens to be up at Master P. I need you to coach him up. So you actually got to coach, Master P through his first experience being on these sim rigs, and his son for that matter, who was really
yep.
cool. But we got a video here that I want to show. Tell us kind of what that was like, just coaching all these people through this experience and then kind of I guess what it meant for you.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it was number one. It was really rewarding, because they were really looking at me, especially because we were doing rally, And for those that don't know, rally is like my passion, man. I mean, like it's what I live for. I love it. Driving on dirt as fast as you possibly can is about as close as you can get to maximum adrenaline. And it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's mine. And in doing this, we had the rally set up and they were all really looking at me like an expert, like it's up to this guy to get this done for all these people to actually enjoy this experience, not just try a motion rig, but, actually have fun doing it. And again, the VR obviously helped quite a bit just because we were putting people in the car.
And we had to
But
clean that VR each and every person. We had to clean the
every
rig each and
time,
every person. And you're hundreds of people, guys.
yep. Hundreds, which is also a testament to the strength of this thing because this singular rig has been through 2 expos with thousands of people trying it, and you guys see me use it every day on stream, and
Right.
it's never broken. So this thing's solid as a rock. But that being said, when he rolled up, I knew who Master P was. I'm old enough to know who that is. So when you told me, hey, he's coming over here, it was like, yeah, okay. I mean, I'm not special in my
Yep.
ability to do this, but celebrities are just people, man.
Hmm.
They're just that's a
And they
regular
like to be
dude here with
treated
his
as
kid.
such.
Yeah, I mean, he's here with his son. It's just that's a regular dude who's coming to try something out. So when he sat down, is it Master P? Yeah. Is that insane? Yes. But at the same time, treat him like a human, and tell him
Hmm.
what to do. Let him have some fun. And
And if it was his
he,
first time trying anything like this, you could tell.
oh
It
yeah,
was like talking to a regular person, just like this. Hey man, here's where you got to put your feet. Here's where you got to do your hands.
yep,
And it's a very intimate process. Like Moto's right there with you. So it was
yep.
pretty surreal to see it because so many people were freaking out once they figured out who it was and
Who
what
he
was going
was.
on. Just cameras came out of nowhere. You can see I got a video I'm gonna show you guys, but it was like all of a sudden it was like whoosh, and he's at the center of this, and you got to maintain this focus. It was a really amazing experience.
Yeah, it was truly humbling, man. And he's the nicest guy in the world too. So is his
Hey,
son.
sir.
So I mean, that was really cool. They let us take the pictures and everything like that. They were totally down for it. He let us record them, and post it, which was really incredible of him.
Did interviews
But
with him.
I
I did
think,
interview twice
yeah,
with him.
I think he just appreciated the fact that it's not about it's not about the spectacle. It's just about enjoy this.
Yeah, check this out. Check this out. And honestly, it's crazy because this shows you who Moto is. Everybody becomes Moto's like best friend. Like the way he makes people feel. Like I can't tell you enough how many people came by and it was like, "You're Jesse, I'm Jesse. We're the like it was." Check this out, man.
To be a race car driver, it takes some work.
It takes some serious
It
work.
takes some serious work.
Some know a little something about hard work.
Just patting him on the back, just
Show you how to-
touch a lot.
Hey, we appreciate you guys.
We just made him say,
He's a regular
Just made him
dude, bro.
say,
You made him say, When he said that, I died, bro. I was like,
dude,
thank
I
God.
I didn't think he was gonna say
thank
it.
you for
I didn't think he was
me
gonna say it.
neither.
I thought it was
Me
like
neither.
I thought it was probably so annoying to this point. Like, how many people do you think on a daily basis go by Master P like make him say just like his neighbors walking the dog, like
No, he was regular dude. I do think he appreciated it, and
Yeah.
I think every celebrity that's interacted with like that, they don't always want to give you an autograph. I mean, they're not mad
What's
about
up,
it, but at the
MB?
same time, they might be out with their kids or something like that. I ran into Tyga, the rapper, at an amusement park one time, and he was standing right in front of me in the line, and it was just like, yeah, what's up? Like your music, man. I mean, that was it. It wasn't, can I take a picture with you or anything? And thankfully, like I said, P was nice enough to let us do all that. And that's really, why I love it, because this guy that's never done it before, had no idea this existed, comes over, tries it, has a blast, and I put a smile on his face, which is that's exactly why I do this. That's what I want to do. And it was just such a great experience, man. I mean, and that was really the moment where it was like, yeah, this is all worth it. Like, as tired as
Yeah.
I am, as irritated as I am, like, this is something that I'm gonna remember this forever. And I mean, hopefully other people can get enjoyment out of this. And that whole experience, man, I mean, every time somebody would get out of it and they'd have a smile on their face, they'd tell me thank you. Or when people had success, because some people could get into it and they could rip, like not everybody could, but there
Yeah.
were those
I
dudes that
remember
were
you
good
telling
at
the
it,
one kid, he was like, I can tell this guy's a sim racer because of his forearms. And
Hmm.
he looked like
Yep.
Popeye, man. They came showed it, and he was natural,
He was,
sequential,
it
boom,
was
boom,
the
boom,
way he
boom.
was
Once he
holding
figured it
on.
out,
Yeah.
he was killing it.
Yeah. Because with
So I
Rally, you guys, oh, go ahead.
no. Tell me about the rally.
I was gonna say with Rally, the
It
easiest way
ain't
to do it,
easy.
if you want to,
I
if you
was
want a
awful.
cheat code, if you want a cheat code for it, is to just put your hand at 9 o'clock and leave it there as best as you can. Just leave your hand at 9 o'clock. That you're going to have the best control over the wheel at that point. Your other hand is now freed to use everything you want to use. but it's something that that was the easiest way for me to describe it to everybody that would sit in the rig is look, I would have to move their hands around because they would have the VR on already. So it was like, okay, put your hand here, put your other hand here. When he says go, you're going, you know. So it was this really, really interesting thing that, you know, they would get out of it, they'd thank me, and it was like it really let me know that okay, this is what I want to do. Like I gotta find a way to make this my job somehow, you know, and I'm getting there. That's for sure.
You are definitely making some moves, man. I want to talk about some. Um, one of the coolest things about all of this, right, is people are I'm catching the vibe off you. Everybody's catching this vibe off you that, you know, just this really great space and this great energy that you're in right now. And I want to kind of go back to the side of you that, you know, is the reason for this chapter of your life. And I want to go into the warrior mindset. You know, it's funny. I was, you know, in the song, it was like God of Thunder, Lord of War. You know, like we've created this brotherhood from being these extremely passionate people, where and this intensity it kind of grew from something. And I want to go back, and I don't want people to forget you one of the most amazing things about you, and that is your service to this country. Because in all of this help that you do, and all this service that you do, like it originated somewhere. And at a very young age, you chose to go and do something that, you know, not a lot of people can say that they do. But I got a slideshow here and I got some graphics here, and just to kind of let everybody know, this is something that Jesse's extremely proud of. We're going from Moto to Jesse here, and there's
Yeah.
a definitely a distinction between the two. We have a special slide. I know there's you know, special people that we're going to talk about. So you guys get your popcorn ready. This is part of the episode you don't want to
Hey,
miss.
sir.
But I'm going to jump in here, going from, you know, all this excitement, you know, to going back to who Moto who Moto is, and kind of going back
The
to the
root of
beginning.
why.
So the root of why, right? The built version of you. So we're going to
Mhm.
start this slideshow, and I know it's going to hit slide 2. It's kind of why
Yeah.
I'm building this build up, because you don't ever I've heard you tell stories about your military career, but it always starts with this passion you have. And it always you shared this story with me, you know, about your buddy Harris. And this next slide here is going to go into that. And I just want everybody to kind of take a minute just to listen, because we're gonna let Moto do his thing and kind of talk through this. But here we go, bro.
Yeah, man. So, you know,
Here he is.
and shout out to Todd too, man, because you know, throughout life, you know, every young man needs somebody to look up to. You know, you got to have at least it's a good thing to have, you know, is that older man knows more, you know, grizzled in a lot of ways, but they can show you, you know, how to do your work, you know, and really how to be great. And in the military especially, you know, that's a real big thing. You want to lean into that. When somebody will take you under your wing, or their wing rather, because they believe in you, allow that to happen. And he was that, you know, he was Superman. I mean, special forces, you know, this guy was a tank. And, you know, we're downrange in that picture right there. He didn't give a damn. He was wearing his Longhorns hat, man. He didn't care. You know, he was like, no, that's my
Something
hat. This
about
is
you,
lucky.
them Texans, man.
It's his lucky hat, man. He was wearing the Longhorns, you know, and he just he was the epitome of a soldier, of a true this is the standard, you know, like right there. That's where it is. And um you know, you you almost look up to him like a father, you know, where it's like, you know, I'm young too. I mean, you got to remember that, like I'm a teenager, you know, and then into my really early 20s. And you know, I would always look at him like, okay, that's just, if I keep doing what he's telling me to do and how to do it, then I'm going to be him someday. And you know, it was this really motivating thing, and it wasn't just for me. I got to say, you know, there's 20 other guys that he's doing this for as well. You know, it's I'm not there's not a singular moment in this. I mean, we all look up to him like this. He is our superhero. Uh and when he died, when he was killed, that was a sobering moment for me, you know, to you know, to realize that, you know, this person that we thought, you know, that would never happen, It can't. It can't. Look at everything he's been through. I mean, he's, a veteran of multiple deployments. I mean, he's gone through some stuff, and yeah, it was something that where we were in Afghanistan was a place nobody's ever heard of. I could tell you where it's at. Gormak, Afghanistan. You never been there. You'll never go there. Uh, you don't want to. Nobody does. You guys don't want to go there. But it was a situation, very normal day, and it started out normal, like like any day does. And I try to tell people, in order for you guys to maybe understand a little bit, in terms of the gravity of it, when you lose somebody downrange, and he's not the only one, is imagine at breakfast time, you're looking across from somebody that you love. You love this person. You're in a war with this person, and you die for this person. And by lunchtime, they're dead and they're gone forever, and you didn't get to say goodbye. You didn't think it was going to happen. It shouldn't happen. And when it did happen, it was something that, we didn't believe it happened either. It was something we were in straight up denial that he was gone. And then we had to pick up the pieces after that. And you have to keep going. And, instead of the guy that's normally behind you telling you to keep going, it's yourself now. You have guys that are now, it is near the Helmand province. Yes, it is, Grover. You have these guys that are now looking at you, like, okay, now you're up. You tell us what to do. And now, you have to put yourself in this situation where, you are, hopefully he taught you the right thing. And when you get out of all this, when everything stops and you are now at a calm speed again, is what I would like to call it. You realize, how, and this is one thing that Grover can understand a lot, is everything that you were pushing back behind you, everything that you weren't listening to, all these things that you were forgetting at that time come rushing back. And it's this has been in terms of sim racing, a pleasant distraction, from having something to be passionate about, because, there's me and Brown right there. And, that's Afghanistan too. And, that's somebody, that, again, the military taught me a lot of things, but it really taught me empathy. You and I have talked about this. You know, empathy is important. I think it's more important than sympathy. Anybody can feel bad for somebody. I could feel bad for a situation that you're in, but can I understand your situation? Can I put myself in your situation and really see it from your side? Maybe we have a disagreement, and in that moment, I have to be, able to then maybe take a step back and go, okay, why are you saying these things to me, and why are you right? And when we're over there, you know, and like I said to you, in situations, it's extremely cold. Well, it's extremely cold for everybody, not just extremely cold for me, or it's extremely hot. It's extremely hot for everybody, not just me. Hey, we're getting shot at. Well,
Yeah.
everybody's getting shot at. Not just me.
Yeah.
So it's this empathetic thing of,
So
I
what can you
place
complain
myself.
about at that point?
Nothing. Because
Right.
we're all out here together. I can complain to you about the situation, but we're in it, brother. So why even complain? Let's just make the best out of this. And it's something that it sticks with you even when you get out, but you look for it. And there's nothing like the military in terms of brotherhood. There's things that are close, and there's sports and law enforcement, fire department, things like that, paramedics, that you're going to have a bond with a lot of these people. You are, but there's something very romantic, if you will, about going to war. It's romanticized, and we romanticize it in a lot of ways as Americans. Number one, we look back at wars as glorious, and there's no glory in the blood that it costs. There's not. Looking back on everything I've ever done, it's something that it's I don't want certain people in my life to understand or know what that's like, or have to think about putting themselves in a position where they'd have to make those kinds of decisions. And, getting wounded, over there too, really, really made me, push that down. I don't want people to know what this is like. You shouldn't know. And, sorry.
Yeah, man. No, I want to let me give you that moment to kind of recover yourself because
Mm,
you've made some very amazing points. One of the things that hit me was in losing your mentor, realizing that, Superman, that there's kryptonite to all of these men, and someone that you look up to, and having in life, we're able to move on in a lot of ways. And when you're a civilian, someone passes. I just went through some losses, but rarely do you have to go and force yourself to replay everything that person ever taught you, so you can't let them go. You actually have to hold on to them more at this moment. I need to remember everything that he taught me, and I know that this man lives on your wrist. I know that this is it was like right after I met you, it was like, I carry this man with me. I can be as close as I can to anybody, but nobody will ever be, who this person is to me. And it's something that I really, it hits home, because after listening to you and now you have to be a leader, it's like, how did you deal with having to replay everything every day in that? How do you cope with that now? Because I know, and I don't know if you want to share what you do now actively and some of the things that Grover shares that you do actively as a soldier who is a civilian now to get over those moments that we don't understand.
Um, well, there, you, how do I describe it in a way where people can understand? Um, when you have people that rely on you, just like your family, why do you go to work every day? Why do you get out of bed even when you're tired, even when you don't want to? Because you have to. You must. That's your responsibility as a husband, as a father, as a man. It is your duty to rise up to the occasion. Not everybody does. Some people really struggle with that, myself included as a civilian. We can get into that. But militarily, you don't have a choice. We're still out here. He's gone. They're all gone. And and they're going to be gone for the remainder of the time that we're out here and every time after that. And we still got to go home. All of us do. I remember talking to my dad over there. I had called him at one point, pretty upset. Not going to get into why, but upset. I was having a bad day. And he had told me, Jesse, you have to do whatever it takes to come home. You can't let anybody get in your way. And he said, I'm sorry that I can't tell you more, that I can't comfort you more, but this is something that you're going to have to navigate, and you need to come home. And I knew I needed to. And I knew that the only way I was going to be able to do that was to continue to do my job. I didn't have a choice. And getting out of it, I wasn't aware for a long time, the struggles that I was going through mentally. That was a big one. If your mind is very convincing, you can convince yourself of a lot of things if you tell yourself enough times. But if it's not true, eventually that truth will start to seep out. You could lie to yourself for a while,
Yeah.
but only for a certain amount of time before eventually it just topples over. And once it topples, it's not slow at that point. It's everything rolls to the front of your mind. And I remember the day that happened. It was a few years ago. Uh, I woke up one day. This is before sim racing. Um, uh,
Got you, brother.
woke
Y'all
up one
hype this
day.
man up.
I woke up one day and just didn't want to do it anymore. I was done. I was over it. And it was weird. It was a weird feeling, to have that kind of, I mean, I couldn't even put my feet on the ground. I couldn't get out of bed. I mean, it was something that it hit me so hard, like just, I mean, everything I had ever done, everything I had seen, wounds that I sustained that, I don't really like to talk about that, but there are things that have happened to me over there that, I have the scars on my body to look at, but it just, everything came rushing to me. And I remember when I finally did get out of bed, I uh, had a panic attack, like a full panic attack, because, and I mean, I had a little diet. I call it a diet attack, a little diet panic attack, but this one was real. This one, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I thought I was dying. And in that moment, all I wanted to do was die. I just was done. And, you know, it didn't get any better at that moment. It was something was wrong, and really wrong. And I had a, this is going to sound crazy, you guys. This is going to sound a little weird, but I had a voice, in my head that wasn't me. It wasn't my inner monologue telling me, hey, you should do this. You're feeling bad, and this is the easiest way to not feel bad anymore. Is just go. You've lived a life. You've done these things. You've seen the world. And it's 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 okay. You know, but something in my brain was saying ignore that, like, nah, bro, don't listen to that. That voice is super convincing. I mean, it sounds like my friend, like it sounds like something that that knows me, but the enemy is convincing. And those that know. And I made a phone call. I made a phone call, and it was the right call to make, because at that moment it was, hey, are you feeling this right now? And it was the VA. It was, I reached out for a long time after I got out of the military. You guys, I wanted nothing to do with the United States government. I wanted nothing to do with the military. I was very upset with a lot of things that had happened, and I didn't think I needed any help until I did. Like, until it was time for some help. And I made that phone call, and they said, are you able to come down right now? And they said, and if the answer is no, we'll just send somebody out to pick you up. So either you're coming or you're coming. And I said, yeah, I'll be down there. I drove down there immediately. And I mean, right out of the gate, it was, they took it very serious, because, it was. And I, at that point, and I'm sorry for the long story, but
No,
I
man,
was
that's why we're here.
I was put into what's called CPT therapy, chronic post-traumatic stress disorder therapy. It was 3 days a week for 5 hours a day. And bear in mind, at this time, I'm still a father and a husband. I still have to pay my bills. I still have to go to work and and trudge through all this. Be a man, be a husband, be a father, and at the same time be extremely vulnerable to myself and to others. And the therapy really helped me identify what my problem was, which was dealing with, the truth, not the denial factor of what I had convinced myself. Hey, you're just a warrior. You're an animal. This is a part of life. You're going to be fine. You're a dog. Go be a dog, and really it's no, I'm a human being. I'm a man. I have a conscience. I have feelings, I have emotion, and I'm not perfect, and I'm hurting. I'm in I'm in some pain right now, and I've been in pain, and it's pain that even my spouse had noticed. My wife had seen it. I think up at the time, even my son had seen it. You know, he was so little at the time, he didn't know how to articulate it or what to do about it, but
Yeah.
he could see it. And when I kind of got the mindset of, you know, hey, you got to start to be honest with yourself. And that was one thing therapy had me do. They actually had me write. Golly, man, this was tough. They had me write
Yeah.
a paper on the worst day of my life over there, the worst experience I had ever had, and which made me rack my brain. I had to then think, you know, out of everything negative that happened over there, everything bad, what is the worst thing that happened? And okay, okay, that's the worst thing that happened. But in order to find it, I had to be honest with myself about all these things, you know, and admit that,
Yeah.
you know, hey, that's a problem. You know, you got to deal with that. It's not the worst thing, but God, I haven't thought of that in 8 years. You know, I
Mhm.
completely forgot that that happened. And when I got to the worst thing, and it was the worst thing, I had to write a paper on it, and it was 4 pages. And not only did I have to write it, I had to then read it aloud to myself
Ooh.
and to my therapist.
Ooh.
And dude, I think I said like 3 words, like the first line of the paper, you know, before I complete. It took me an hour to
Yeah.
read it. I couldn't. I mean, it was like a very healthy way of letting it go. Of really later, Pop. You're a legend. Love you, man. Shout out to
Appreciate you,
Papa before
Pop.
I continue that. You love you, brother. You're awesome, man. Um, but definitely something that, you know, letting it go and talking about it and then getting through it and admitting that, like, hey, this is a problem was very healthy for me. But unfortunately, the voice was still there, and um, started to have to go to even more therapy and psychology and take medicine. You know, I had to start taking medicine every day. And I'm not really a fan of that per se, you know,
Yeah, me
but at the
neither.
same time, it's something that, you know, I think has improved a lot of me. But then for the last little while, you know, I've slowed down on a lot of that just because of things that I've noticed about myself. But I mean, it got to the point, you know, at one point I had to tell Mrs. Moto, you know, because like you had said, you know, you hunt, you have firearms and things like that. So do I, you know, responsibly, responsible gun owner, everybody. You should
Responsible.
always be.
I'm in Arizona.
But I'm in Texas. We got guns.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Our guns
but
got
I
guns.
had guns got guns. Yeah. But no, I had to look at my wife and say, hey, um, I need you to go hide everything. You got to take it. You got to get it away from me because I don't trust myself. And that was a long time that was like that. I didn't know. She didn't hesitate either. That woman didn't skip a beat. It wasn't a second. She was like, "Okay," like literally,
Yeah.
"Yep," and walked inside. I stayed outside. She was outside on the front porch just looking at the sky, you know, she does. And I walked out there, and that was the only thing I said to her. I walked outside. I said, "Hey, you got to go inside. And you got to hide all my shit." Pardon me, but
You're
I'm
fine,
sorry.
bro.
But uh, but she just said, "Yeah, okay," and did. And I never asked. I never wanted to know. And all of a sudden, when the ability to do something was gone from my mind, I was then able to kind of quiet that side. But one thing I started doing was praying a lot, um, a lot for just the strength to persevere, you know, the strength to
Mhm.
continue, the strength to go and be who I was, be who I know I can be. You know, I didn't
Right.
always feel like this. And how do I get back to that? How do I get back to where my wife can look at me and know, you know, like this guy's got us. He's not going to abandon us. He's not going to leave us. And it really was them, man. At the end of the day, through all the therapy, through all the struggle, you know, everything like that, at the end of the day, it's looking at them and going, I would never do that to you guys. Never. That would be the most selfish thing I could ever do because I'm feeling bad, I'm gonna ruin your life too. No way. No way. Um, and it was hard, man. It was hard to, have that mindset of like, no, like this is the why. And this is why I focus on the why. Why do you do anything? You should know. You should know why you do something. A lot of people sim race. Why? For what? Why do you stream? Why are you doing this? And for me, sim racing is what gave me not a purpose, but something to fixate on other than my own stuff.
Yeah.
It was like because it required all of my attention. Everything was locked into this. And because, guys, I don't do anything to lose. I really don't. I'm sorry. It's just my mindset. I
Yeah.
can't help it. It's like if I have to, God, I have to win. I'm sorry. It's why I look so insane sometimes when I'm locked in. It's just because like I must.
Yeah.
Third place is fun. Podiums are great. You don't always got to win. Fifth place is cool too. Sometimes top 10 is a kick ass. But man, first place is like, woo, let's go, baby. And I just have to, But at the same time, it was something that, okay, I want to be good at this. I want to be, because why would I want to be bad at it?
That part, Mr.
And
GT.
we all sim race because we want to spend money. Hey, get into sim racing. It'll cost you $1,000. It'll be the best $5,000 you ever spent. But
Oh, I wish
it's
it stopped at 5.
it's Jesus, oh, God. But no, it just when I unlocked it, man, I was watching Jimmy Broadbent on YouTube, and he was this amazing figure. He was a mental health guy too. He had a great story, and I was just like, dude, I got to do this. Oh, so there's the rig. Okay, so it's still up. So there is the original right there. That's the G29 with the play seat, PlayStation 5, obviously
That's the midlife
GT7.
crisis right there. That's the moment.
Yeah, that is that. Hey, yeah, I'm gonna make a decision. I'm gonna do this, and there you go, man. That's definitely the midlife. Like, okay, and I'm not gonna lie, man. I thought I was the coolest guy since sliced
Dude,
bread with that
that's
setup,
why you're
dog.
taking the pictures, man. It's like,
Bro,
oh, this
bro,
is
I
so
was like,
cool.
no one has this in their house. No one's got this kind of setup.
This
Look at
is
this.
amazing.
This is professional, Oh
Yeah.
my God. This is $500. That's crazy. And then, you start looking around YouTube and you start seeing people that have freaking space shuttles in their bedroom. And it's like, Jesus, like, okay, I guess I need to step my game up a little bit. And it was Rory. Shout out to Rory, man. It was right when he got the 598.
Rory loves the show.
And,
Shout out to Rory, man.
shout out Rory, man.
Rory's a real one. Like when the
Oh,
Rory thing
100%.
happened, like I don't even like Rory was like, yeah, invite me on the show. We'll talk about it. I was like, bro, I didn't think that was gonna happen for like 100 episodes. But he's another one of those like people like to be treated like normal people. Like
He's
Rory's
a real one.
he's just one of us who figured it out, and he sets the standard, he sets the bar, and you gotta respect the guy. You just got to,
100%, man.
But shout out to Rory.
He's a
Appreciate you,
pioneer.
brother.
He's a pioneer for what I'm doing.
Once
But
he sees it, he'll
yeah,
check it out. He always asks what the next one is.
he was using the 598. He had just got that Thrustmaster deal. Shout out Thrustmaster. Respect. Where's it at? Hang on. I never let it go. Guys. It's the hypercar wheel. It's still here. I hold it dear to my heart. This is really what started, like, okay, Moto's got an A next to his name. it was the hypercar wheel. But he had that 598, and I remember when he said the price of it, I was like, well, that's not that bad for a direct drive, like, I mean, I don't know if I want to spend $1,000, but that's actually
Because
like
you got the
super
package
affordable.
too. You got pedal and wheels.
Yeah, I
with
got
that,
the
right?
bundle. Yep, I
Yeah.
got the bundle. So got the bundle, brought it home, immediately felt, way more feedback. I mean, it was fantastic. It was like, okay, man, like now we're really feeling something, and now I can start to take it more serious. And this is really where I started watching you, and I started watching Eric B. and finding out about like the guys from RSR, and that whole crew and what they were doing with sim racing. And shout out to the RSR guys. I quite literally would not be who I am and where I am today without that squad. Nothing but
Love
love from the
RSR.
bottom of my heart. Like, they are needed in the sim racing community. It is a must have for this industry. Um, they are doing great things, and they're going to continue to do great things. It's a big motivation for what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And once I found out, the cool thing for me and what I love to do is support the little guy. Um, Not to say that all these people are little guys, but Rory's got thousands of people watching him. And once I saw that there's also people streaming and they have 15 people watching them or 20 people watching them, but they're all talking to each other, and everybody's saying hi, and the guy on camera is talking to all these people too. Like, man, this is really cool. I didn't know that this was a thing. I thought that if you were streaming, you either were doing it and had thousands of people, or you weren't doing it. I wasn't really big on that YouTube side of things. I posted videos. I didn't live stream at the time. So, I fall in love with it, man. I fell in love with you guys. I did. It was like, these are my people, bro. Like,
It'd be like
this
that.
is who I need to align myself with. I had been searching for it for just years, getting out of the military. I mean, years of, coworkers, what do we have in common? Like, what can we do? And it was like there was really nothing there. It was like I was lost. And then I found it. And it was, okay, this is where I belong. This is what I want to do. This is who I want to spend my time with. And 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 the community was also very open to that. They were welcoming. They took me in as a new face and were like, "Yeah, dude, like, be a part of it with us." Especially RSR, giving me the opportunity that they did to join the team. And I mean, that was such an incredible experience. I mean, it was like these guys that are really committed to each other, like a military, or like a troop, a platoon or something like that, that they all
Squad.
they all love each other, they all respect each other, and they all hang out, and they all talk to each other. It's not just about, driving around, it's this big community. And, you know, I'm not an RSR anymore. And that was a decision I made on my own, number one. Um, there was some negative influence to it that we don't have to get into it, but what happened happened. Um, and it's unfortunate the way that it went down in a lot of ways, but at the same time, a lot of those bridges have been mended, and it's something that I'm very grateful for, just because it's this. When I left RSR, I left a lot. I didn't just leave a group. I left a lot of people. A lot of people that I loved, a lot of people that I talked to every single day. And um I wanted that back in a lot of ways. And when I was, thinking about what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it, I wanted it to be, people that would again align with me, people that would want to have the same experience or have the same type of, thing going. And that was when I started Danger Close. And it wasn't about, like, I don't want people to be off put by the name. Danger Close is a military term. It's something you never want to say over a radio. It's the last thing you want to say over a radio, that I need you to drop this ordinance and we're danger close. That means that the enemy is basically right on top of you, and you are dropping these bombs very, very close to your location, close enough that
If
they
you've
could
ever
possibly
raced
hit
with
you.
Moto, then you know when he's come up on you, he's danger close, and he gets into a zone, man.
Man, it's but with danger close, it was just this thing that, I wanted to, you know, I wanted to have this collective, and I loved the name. Danger Close was always something very special to me. So when I thought about it, it was like, yeah, dude, we're gonna do Danger Close Racing, because racing is dangerous. You are close to other cars. You're gonna be locked into these battles. It's a war. Racing is an actual war, and 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 you want to win. I got to win this battle. And it was just, I dove into it, and when I started Danger Close, it was all about it doesn't matter who you are, what you're playing. It was something that it was all
Eric B
about just
made it.
join. Eric B, bro. Shout out to the legend,
We're
dog.
talking about
Shout
you,
out to the
dog. Your
legend.
ears burning?
Shout out to the legend. But it was something that, when I started it, it was like, okay, man, I'm gonna have this team behind me. And, things with Real Squad had gotten kind of sour at that moment because rightfully so, Eric B, as the founder and the leader, he had felt kind of a type of way about it too, and he wanted to protect his organization and his baby. And as somebody who understands that really truly now, it was like, yeah, man, like, I totally understand the step back, and again, like I said, thankfully these bridges have been mended though, because I wouldn't be who I am without that guy. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't have the confidence. I wouldn't have the knowledge. That he helped me a lot with my stream in terms of the way things look, the way it should be structured, and
Boy,
I
I
mean,
used to
looking
pick his
back on that,
brain nonstop. I thought I was
I
going to
mean,
be
the
in Real
guy.
Squad.
I mean, dude, it's something that I still cherish. I mean, if there was an honorary way, I mean, I still love all those guys.
Yeah,
It's something that they're who taught me how to race. I mean, if
yeah.
it wasn't for Friday Night Lights and having those
Friday
close
Night
battles with
Lights.
all these guys, I
Shout out
wouldn't be
Photo, man.
doing
Photo
this,
has kept up the lobby scene hard.
keeping
Ace
it
is doing it
going,
too.
dude.
Like, honestly, those are
Edward
and
does it.
those guys have created an environment. Like, I like going in there because yeah, it gets tussly. Like, your guys that you can, go side by side with and gets and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like that. Like, I used to get a lot of flack because I'm so aggressive. And it took a long time for my skill set to catch up with my aggression. And I had to taper down my aggression so much to meet my skill set to where now I feel like I can unlock some more aggression the more I respect the racecraft. You know what I mean? And but hanging out with
Hmm.
those guys, like, honestly, like, shout out, take a moment again, check out Eric B the Realist channel. I think Mr. GT78's a mod. If he wants to, Noodle's a mod too. You can start sharing all those channels and stuff.
Oh,
Amazing setup,
please,
amazing people. I got to
please.
hang out with Eric B and Pocahontas Pink in real life at the Sim Gaming Expo last year. And I got to hang out with Zilla. I got to hang out with Judo and CW. Like, I got to meet so many people. And it was crazy because when the real squad showed up, it was like the real squad is here. Like, they came up, they had matching shirts, everything. I had a whole bunch of them in the behind the wheel that we did live at the show. And hanging out with Eric afterwards, like, I got to pick his brain and talk to him a lot about just the guy is full of knowledge. He's tried everything, he's done everything. He has some of the best graphics in the game. He has he had the dual systems PC set up before we all did. He had Moza before we all did. He had the converter before everybody did. Like, check the dude out. And shout out to Pocahontas Pink. She's an amazing person. And I don't want to speak wrong, but I believe Pocahontas Pink is also a veteran. And so shout out to that as well. You guys share that brotherhood and that sisterhood, that bond. But so many amazing people. Getting back to, and I want to shout out PHG too, because again, I've been a
Yeah.
member of PHG since I think I had like 75 subs. I don't even know if I was really making any motion, and getting a part of that community really changed my entire trajectory. I went from like 75 to like 275. It's a huge community, it's huge outreach.
That's a
But
massive
Papa,
jump too.
I look at Papa, right? I look at you, I look at Eric, I look at some of the other figureheads that have taken that leadership role. And I want to talk about when you and Eric didn't necessarily have a fallout, but it was like, hey, there's a rift here. But
Mhm.
I've been privy to a lot of all the efforts that went into, no, for the betterment of the community, we need to make sure that everything's in line, that our communities are, are treating each other the right way, that there's no rifts. That's not what
Oh
this is
yeah.
about. We're talking about a virtual reality world. And I always say this, like, and you said this earlier, go back to your hardest moment. Go back to moments that you got through and then ask yourself, like, dude, is this that serious? Like, come on now.
Mhm.
And me and you even both, we took months off from streaming
Oh
because there
yeah.
was other things that we had to take care of in life. At the same time, I was racing the whole time. You were racing at the whole time. We don't just race because, hey, there's a chance for us to get on YouTube and create some content.
No.
We race because we love this crap. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And these communities have our backs behind. I want to talk about New Genetics. We were just talking about this time last year, like, we were praying for this man. Eric B was running
Yep.
streams in honor for this man. We were all rallying for Nugs. To see Nugs
Yeah.
where he's at right now, to have one of the baddest, most amazing setups anybody has ever seen. To see him happy and where he's at, like again, those community moments. Hogston GT when he went through his injury, Papa going through the loss of his angel. You know, like so many things that a lot of people have gone through. Um, that's why we do it. That's why I do it. I can't help it anymore. I mean, this is something that's important to me. I'm sitting in my house right now, you know, like this has become such an important part of my life. But I look at you figureheads like that's what it takes. And for people who do want to start groups, people who want to jump up, maybe leave a team or want to start a team, like understand it gets past the honeymoon phase. It gets to a point
Oh.
where you are now responsible for the etiquette of how these people are behaving, treating each
Mm-hmm.
other, the content you support, the protection over that community. Because again, let's face it, there are trolls in this community that feed off of that of being able to divide, you know, teams, that feed on being able to infiltrate a lot of this and being able to create chaos because misery loves company. Tell us a little bit about
Oh, big time.
what it means to be a leader of this team, and for Noodles in here too. Like Noodle's one of those people too that is actually a master at being able to kind of extinguish some of that stuff, and he's changed teams. So I'd like to hear maybe if he had some questions or something. But again, touch on that point a little bit of what that whole process has been like.
Well, number one, I mean, there was a very real situation where that actually, I made a pretty public statement after the fact, just because, not to get too personal and not to put anybody on blast or anything like that, but when I did step away and start Danger Close, there was an actual instance where someone from my group that I had started went in not only to a live stream but into another Discord and started flapping their gums about some stuff that they had, number one, no idea what they were talking about, and number two, no idea about their future with my organization. Because despite at the time how certain people in that group may have felt, I never wavered in my opinion or my feelings. Um, so, and this is just who I am. You're not going to talk about my people, bro. You're not going to go, and this is just my personality. I'm going to ride hard for my guys. Doesn't matter
That
if
part.
there's a rift or if there's a problem, like I'm in their corner, dog. It doesn't matter. And they can call me right out of the gate. So, it's a responsibility, man, because people have to know that, you can say whatever you want, man. You could do and say whatever you want, but you better be prepared for the consequences of what you're saying. And in my organization, I have a zero tolerance for that. You want to be a bully? Go be a bully, but you better get out of my group. And it's not really a decision at this point. You're out. Like
Yeah,
you're not going to do that. This is a community that saved my life. These people saved me, man. So, no, I don't care if they wrecked you or if you're emotional about it. Like, no, 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 bro. You're not going to go do that to my guys, especially to somebody that's a mentor to me. And it's it's a lot of responsibility because you're essentially a I don't want to call it a babysitter, but at the same time, you're watching all these moves that are being
mhm,
made, and you want to be a positive force in the community. You don't want people to look at you and think X, Y, or Z. And I feel like up to a point, prior to really my actual comeback into YouTube and into streaming again, you know, perception is reality, unfortunately. And I think that there were a lot of cues that I was giving people that was showing that, you know what, there was a time a couple months ago, about a year ago, where I was a pretty upset and angry guy, easily irritated, easily pushed to a point where I was going to lose my temper. And I had a lot of stuff going on, man. My mom was diagnosed with leukemia. I had a terrible job at the time that was just working me to the bone, man. I mean, I was working 15, 16 hours a day, just to put food on my table. And that took me out of this. And then once I lost the drive and the attitude, it was like, yeah, I'm just done. There was no point. I wasn't in RSR anymore. Danger Close. I felt like a lot of the guys in the group could take it. Noodle could handle it. He knows what he's doing, and it was like, yeah, I'm just gonna take a step back. I'm gonna backseat all this, man. Like I can't do this anymore. And then you enter and then what happens. And I have this resurgence where a lot of things have changed for the better now. And I have a much different attitude and a much different
Yep.
mindset about where I want to take this, what I want to do, my why, why am I
Mhm.
streaming again? There's a big one, there's a real big one. And it's not for likes on my videos either, so it's that point where, you know, by the grace of God, and I always knew it would happen, but bridges are being mended and relationships are being brought back. And it was always supposed to be like that. You know,
That
I
part.
think at the time
That part.
I was open for negative influence because I was a negative guy at the time.
Mhm.
I was being negative in a lot of the way. So, like you said, misery loves company, baby.
Yep.
And I had misery right next to my, right on my flank.
There's whole
I mean, he was right
communities
here,
for misery.
dude. And it was just this big thing that when I leaned into that influence, I I took it and ran with it, and looking back on it, hindsight always being 2020, you know, should that have been the way it went down? No, but it did. But where we're at now, the mindset I have now and these relationships that are being built now, I think it is for the better. I think
Yeah.
sometimes you do need to take a step back, and reevaluate not only, me, but I think a couple people, reevaluated themselves. And, it's something that's why, Real Squad Racing is just they're family, man. I mean, and
Yeah.
sometimes family is gone for a while.
That's the thing
Sometimes you
about
don't
Real
talk to your
Squad is
family.
the Real Squad is a family in themselves. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like people who rock
100%.
that RSR, those dudes ride for each other. You cannot
Mhm.
infiltrate that group. They have a very good integrity with each other. They communicate a lot. They are very well organized. And they seem way bigger than they are. Like you feel like Real Squad is like 100-man team, and it's a
Dude,
couple dozen people that are grinding. But Eric B is smart as hell, man. He's a genius with his graphics, and that the Discord's great. Anyways, Real Squad, we love you guys. You guys are freaking awesome. Shout out to those guys being in here. Stumpy, welcome. Rob, big
family, bro.
Rob. Rob is one of those guys in the community that I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he keeps up, but I was looking at a stat today. I almost posted him again, and I was like, over 100 comments this month, or 100 over 100 likes. I think it was this month or I think it's comments, might be comments, and I'm like, dang, dude, we appreciate you. I know Misa loves Rob, but everybody, make sure you guys give Rob some love, man. He rides hard for the community.
Shout out to Rob, brother. Shout out to
So I
Rob.
want to I
But
want
no,
to jump
man.
back to the. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, no,
All
please
right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. All right.
do it.
So we get into these rigs, right? And one of the coolest
Yeah.
things about what you've been able to accomplish lately is the evolvement and kind of giving. Really, I feel like I inspired you, and then you re-inspired me. It was this weird thing that's happened over the last couple weeks where, um, I think in a way, and the age gap doesn't really matter here. I think what matters is experience and wisdom. And at a point last year
Mm,
when I was talking to you, it was I have a lot of experience and wisdom in trade shows. And I have a lot of experience and wisdom in how I think we could approach this. And you were kind of like, all right, I'll listen to you. And then we went and did this stuff. And then you went on and you had an adventure of your own, which was really awesome with DOF. And you're coming back from this and you're like, dude, this and this and this and this. And I kind of just had to sit back and be like, this guy's got some knowledge and wisdom that I need to shut up and listen to. And it really helped me kind of reshift my focus and understand everything that you've learned about all these people and this industry, that we're working with, and how we could be more of a part of it, how we can be a
yeah.
big ambassador to North American sim racing. And it's not because we have 50,000 subscribers. It's not because we have 450,000 subscribers. It's not because we have 10,000 subscribers. It's because we have a goal to help other people, and that is infectious.
Yep.
And lately, and
Yep.
it's crazy because again, I feel like I helped you leveled up and you're helping me level up. And then we're leveling up everybody around us. And shout out again to Noodle and all the guys out there that are leveling people up, and the guys that are leveling up because of this. But you've made some serious level ups. And I want to look at this. I want to look at this graphic because we're going to get into this this DOF partnership you have, the PXN partnership that you have, all the experience that you have with Built PC, with
Mm.
Moza, with all the other companies that you're talking to and collaborating with. Let's look at this rig one more time, because you did make all these jumps. You know, you've experienced the Thrustmaster. You went to the tell us about what it was like to go from the Thrustmaster to Moza even.
Oh my God. I mean, Thrustmaster was my first foray, you know, and it was fantastic. Again, shout out to them, man. They make a great piece of equipment. You know, it had a couple runs of flaws, but they've it seems like they've worked all that out, and it's a good piece of gear. But then, you know, again, shout out to RSR, man. If it wasn't for RSR Zilla, you know, I wouldn't have
I
all
wouldn't
that
even
right
known
there.
about
You
Moza.
know, I mean, it was something that, you know, he gave me a fantastic deal on everything, and it was just something that Thrustmaster was giving me some trouble at the time. And he came through in the clutch, you know, and was like, "Hey, man, I mean, he had all this stuff as an extra, you know," and it was like, "Okay, you know, like let me get on that." And you know, getting into Moza, I could just at that point I could really trust, you know, like okay, like this is all gonna work and be there. I mean, it's still enshrined behind me, you know, it's still there. I'm not getting rid of Moza. I love Ishmael. I love the product. I love the brand. You know, it's something that they have a very dear place in my heart. But
Shout
you
out
know,
to
again,
Ish. Cool dude,
if it
man.
wasn't for Zilla, oh, Ish is great. If it wasn't for Zilla, I wouldn't have any of this stuff, you know. But that being said, it was definitely a lot more. You know, now I had that F1 wheel. Now I had some actual load cells too. I was only rocking the TLCM load cells from Thrustmaster, so getting into an actual load cell pedal and really feeling, you know, that braking power, you know, and the ability to actually start to feel the car a lot more with that more force feedback was definitely extraordinary. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that equipment either. I mean, I use it. I was using it to the day that I obviously put on all the PXN equipment.
Mhm.
So it was something that that's why I'm not getting rid of it, man. It still works. You know, ain't nothing wrong with that stuff, and it's great. You know, and it's been through a whole trade show. I took it all to Charlotte and let a bunch of people use it. I mean, thousands of people used my stuff, and you know, nothing's wrong with it. And I mean, it's a testament to the brand, man. Moza's, in my opinion, you know, one of the best. They're a goat.
Yeah, we ran Moza gear out there at the trade show the whole time, and it's
Yep.
impressive. And I was out at the Moza booth, like the things that these guys are doing. The Porsche Vision wheel is wow, and the
Yeah.
new pedals that they got, the motions, they're doing big things, man. It's really cool to watch all the updates and stuff. Definitely on the
Hmm.
PC side, you know, you can't go wrong with Moza. Um, Tell us a
No.
little bit about so one this picture is kind of out of order, but it plays a big role in how this all worked out. After the expo, right? So we have these rigs. And after the expo, now somehow because Moto has the H3, has my rig at his house, and that's in Cypress, Texas. And then I have the H4 now. I appreciate you, Big Rob. Thank you, brother. Congrats to Noodle getting that membership. Thank you for paying it forward. Thank you for tipping your host. Love you, Rob. So I have this H4 now that I have to drive back from Vegas to Arizona. Moto gets to fly out, right? Just his work was to come, right?
Yeah.
Got to get this rig back to Arizona, right? Unloaded in the garage. I think it was 21 days later, we planned that we were going to each make a 16-hour drive to meet at the middle point between Cypress, Texas and Sahuarita, Arizona. And it just
Which is
so
still
happened
in
to be
Texas, by the way.
which is still in Texas.
Yeah, it's still in Texas, actually. Yeah,
He
the
drove,
halfway
he was in
point
the
is still
same
Texas.
state his whole drive. I drove through 3 states. Uh we rent these cars. I think you showed up and just I rented a van. We
Yeah,
load
I
up
showed up in
these
my
we
SUV.
load up these rigs, and just mind you, you know, we drove 16 hours to meet each other in the middle of nowhere. And literally we had to just swap the rigs. It was just mine out of his, and we're dead tired. I think I worked the night before. Bobby Vegas, my dog with the 5 gifted. I see you, brother, man. I
Shout out
see
Bobby,
you.
bro. Shout out Bobby.
Shout out Bobby, man. We got to get Bobby on the show. We got to get Bobby on the show. I love Bobby. The dude brings killer energy. I wish we would have linked up with him in Vegas. That would have been epic.
Oh, I know, dude. God, I was kicking myself in the chops for
But we
that.
meet up at a Subway in the middle of nowhere, and we just get back and we turn right back. We just get back and we turn right back, man. And it was,
Yep.
and then we had to get home and set him up. And I think I think I might have waited a little bit, but I don't think that you waited. Didn't you just get home?
No.
Didn't you just get to work?
Got home, got to work, man. It was immediate, you know. At that point, I was pretty into it, you know, because you hadn't had one yet.
No.
It wasn't built at your house. I had the H3 for like 3 weeks, so I was using it, you know, and it was definitely something that, you know, I was just at that point I was in love with it. And then after the expo, it was all I wanted to do. I just wanted it back. Once I felt the heave, it was like, yeah, dog, I gotta go. So I jumped right back into it once I got it, and still didn't really know what I wanted to do with it though, because I still wasn't streaming yet, and I didn't, you know, it was a big navigatory thing. A lot of things were changing. At one point, you know, where I'm at now is so that's the sim room. What you guys see right there was when I had the whole room. So I was doing dual PC, and you know, I mean, it was crazy, man. I had the whole room to myself, and it was fantastic. But my sister-in-law moved back in, so I had to go back to Moto's Cozy Corner. You know, so that was a thing that I had to figure out. You know,
How
okay,
many
I'm gonna move
people
this
are
thing
in a
now,
corner as opposed to a room? Because I'm now in a
dude.
corner too.
Well, really, it's like an alcove. You guys can see in the photos, it's like that little indentation, you know, rectangle, you know, where I'm at right now. And I mean, it went in there perfectly, you know. And again, shout out to my wife for allowing me to put this in our bedroom because there ain't nowhere else for me to put it. You know, like when my sister-in-law originally moved out, you know, because she lived with us for a while, and then she moved, it was like, okay, I'm taking the room. And it made sense because I'm going to be, you know, racing at 3 in the morning sometimes. I don't want to
Yeah.
keep her awake. But you know, now I had to go back in, you know. But I do like being back in Moto's Cozy Corner. It's what I always called it, was Moto's Cozy Corner, because that's what it was. And it's like back to the roots, you know, where my streaming started in here. And you know, I'm kind of happy that, you know, it is back in here because this is where it all started, man. Much different setup, much different process, but you know, this is where I belong, I think.
Heck yeah, man. There's something to be said about, having your own safe space. And I think that goes into it too, man. Just hopefully Grover's still here, but kind of touched on it, like having that spot that you can go to. And a lot of times before technology, and I would say maybe if we went back a generation or two, that spot was a fishing spot. That spot
Mm,
was the cab of a truck. It was a motorcycle. It was a trail that you hiked, maybe, a garage. I love my garage. Love being in my garage. I will be in my garage all day, every day, no problem.
mhm.
However, um, yeah, this is pretty cool too. You know what I mean? So it's been really
Yeah.
cool to kind of have this space where I can do everything else and then I can kind of come sit in this chair, and I've created a space where I can really let go. I can let go of everything and it's okay and I'm safe, and I don't have to feel guilty about it because I know on my bikes, and maybe you know this too, like when you take off on that bike, prayers are said.
Big time.
You know what I mean? Like even, and I'm
Yep.
sure for the guys who have their cars, prayers are said. When you go and you have an outlet that triggers your adrenaline. And that's why I say there's nothing like this. That because of virtual reality, because of the technology and eye tracking and motion and VR and all this immersion, we could actually tap into those things and be right here safe at home. And I know that Misa
Yep.
appreciates that. I know my family appreciates it. It's one of the reasons why I brought the rig downstairs and kind of brought my family into this. I've brought Misa into this. Some of you guys know Misa, some of you guys don't, but she's really getting ready to kind of launch her platform. She's going to be doing some kind of guest appearances at the beginning of the week on VKG channel, and then she's going to get ready to launch her own Misa Racing channel. And I just heard through the we're gonna do a couple team announcements tonight. But if Papa's still here, Papa's not here, but Papa has invited Misa to come and be a part of the PhD community as well.
Oh, snap.
So really, really excited about that. I know she's excited about that, and I
That's
think it'll be
awesome.
an amazing home. The people I trust, the leadership in that community, the way that they bring people in. Obviously, I wouldn't want someone that I care so much about to be in any better hands. So,
No.
really excited about that. And then we've talked about some things, And
Oh yeah.
kind of the trajectory that I'm on and kind of the mission that I'm on, I've been able to over the last you've been a part of behind the scenes more than anybody knows, and kind of reshaping where Viking King Gaming is going, what my mission is, what my philosophy is, honing in on getting behind the wheel as a monthly podcast, honing in on what is Viking actually doing. A lot of people know outside, like I have huge ambitions to, to be in a real race car someday. And I think
Yeah.
that my growth and my trajectory, I want to always keep that in mind. I don't want to get too far away from actually being able to transfer these skills into a real race car, which is why I've worked so hard to create an immersive experience. But getting into the PC stuff, I was terrified, absolutely terrified. I remember like literally just talking to Bill for the first time and not knowing what SSD meant to what DDR5 or DDR4 or the difference between a 3060, 4060 to a 5070 Ti that I have now.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything. I literally just bought a computer off a marketplace and hoped and dreamed that it was going to be doing everything that I needed to do. And as I've gone through this
Yeah.
journey, people like Mr. GT7, people like OP, people like you, people like Bill, people, all these people that have helped me to kind of understand. Without the community, I wouldn't be here. But you've been helping me kind of build a mission. And the mission right now is to immerse myself into some legitimate sim racing titles on PC. And we've discussed iRacing. We're definitely looking hard at LMU and possibly
Yep.
starting that journey here really soon. But as I'm able to kind of get the equipment that I need to do this and making the investment, you guys know I just bought the Nitro, which was a huge investment into the channel and hopefully something that'll help me kind of get in with the sim van once I get there. But as I grow into this PC side, we've discussed, well, who are you going to learn from? Who are you going to support? Who are you going to race with? Because as amazing as PHG is, it's a console team, and it's a Gran Turismo team. So there's been some discussion as to what we're going to do about that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's something that it's not too, and again, it's a big thing of danger close. It's just because you have the moniker, or you're in the Discord, or you race with me, or you race for me, that doesn't mean that you're not racing for whoever else too. I would never want you to leave PHG. That's your home, and that's the love that I have for them as well. As just another group in the industry, or what we would call the community rather.
Mhm.
That Yeah, man. I mean, they have their purpose. We need them too, just like we need Real Squad. It's something that it's a must have. And but at the same time, with what you want to do and with what a lot of my guys are doing is mainly based on PC. And in that PC world, there's a handful of titles that will really give you that edge. And I'm an LMU guy. Noodle, he's also coming around to LMU. He's an animal on it. He should just,
He was
in
doing
my
F1 the
opinion,
other day too. That looked
he should just
crazy.
yeah, the F1 was wild. He should make that jump, man. He should do it, because R Dub. I was talking to R Dub last night. He still plays Gran Turismo on Fridays, but he mains other stuff, and I would never tell anybody to stop doing what they love to do. However, I would love it, and we talked about it. If you were racing with me on Danger Close in these team races in these events, just because you and I, for those that don't know, me and this guy are very close, very close. And, before this podcast, we've been, I talk to this dude every day, probably every day for
Yeah.
Jesus, hours.
Hours.
Like, I mean, we put in time on the phone. It's like we're dating, but I mean, it's this thing that, because of that, because of what I've learned, again, you go to these shows, it's not for naught. You're not just hanging out, twiddling your thumbs. If you want to learn something, you will learn something. And when I learned what I wanted to do and how it would be done and the easiest way to go about doing it, it was like, no, dog, like I came to you, and said, hey, remember what we were talking about? This is how I want to kind of realign that and, and go about it this way. And this is how we can do this and bring more people into it. And it was it was funny. Everything kind of came full circle with you and I, because you had that idea and that mindset of like a year ago, and I didn't know what I was doing, so it was like, okay, I'll listen to you. But now, it's this thing where no, I have a why, And, having you next to me as a partner and, with Noodle there as well. And I mean, it's like, yeah, dude, like this is something that I think would be a very good thing. And that's for
Oh yeah.
anybody to do it. It's for anybody to be a part of it. I want everybody to want to do it and for everybody to want to be a part of it. And, it's the same for me with Real Squad. If there was a way that like honorary member or a way that I could go back and, maybe
I
blow the
try to
dust
rock
off
their
my
liveries as
PlayStation.
much as I can.
Yeah, dude, I could blow the dust off my PlayStation and play with them on Friday. I'd love to do that. And that's really the crux of this is not
Yeah.
to separate or segregate, but rather to just be a whole community. Everybody has their niche. Everybody loves what they do and what they like, but that doesn't mean that I'm wrong or you're wrong or
Yeah.
anybody else is wrong for liking what they like. Noodle wasn't wrong to play F1. One of his viewers told him to play it, so he listened to one of his viewers and played it.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
And
That's
he's got a whole
fantastic,
new setup, man. So I know he's excited to see like how
bro.
does this go? How does this go? How
So
does
there's lots of things that are happening, and to like get into it with PXN, I'm pushing this brand pretty hard. And there's a reason for that. When I was in Charlotte, I was, essentially, my sponsorship with DOF almost turned into a job in a lot of ways. And, I'm going to Oshkosh, I'm going to Chicago, with them. And when I was there, uh, Viking and I, when we were at CES, PXN was there. And I was live streaming. You can go back and watch the live stream. We
Yeah,
walk into their
we
booth.
live streamed the whole thing.
Yeah. Walked into their booth and I had said in my live stream, like, hey man, you guys are doing big things,
Yep.
dude. Like, and I remember we kind of played with a little of the equipment and it was like, this actually feels
This stuff feels good. It was
good.
heavy. I remember the
Like,
sequential felt
yeah,
perfect.
the wheelbase is ridiculously heavy for 10
Yeah.
Newton meters, but I digress. I walked up to Bobby, shout out Bobby Chen, marketing for PXN. I walked up to Bobby at the Charlotte Expo and we just started talking and he remembered me from CES and was like, he goes, "Oh, you have a YouTube channel?" And I said, "Yeah, I do. Yeah, you remember that? That's awesome, man. Thank you." And he said, "Well, what'd you think about the equipment?" And I had only tried the 6 at the time. I was over there and I tried the VD6 and I was like, "Dude, that feels freaking awesome for 6 Newton meters." And he was like, "Well, if you like that, come try this one." And it was the VD10. And I tried it and immediately he was like, man, like this is crazy, dude, like you guys are really onto something, man. And he at that moment said, well, how would you like to put it on your channel? And I was confused at first because I was like, what do you mean, like how much how much do I have to pay you? Like, I mean, I legitimately thought, like he wanted to sell me this stuff. And he was like, "What? Like, no, you don't gotta buy it. Like, do you want to promote it?" And immediately it was like, "Yeah, like 100%." And if Viking can go back to that picture, that was at the expo right there. I mean, he was like, literally, yeah, at the end of the day, come by.
Wow.
We'll box everything up. And we'll get it loaded up for you. And I mean, it was mind blowing, dude. Like when I went back over to the DOF booth, Bill was there with Built PC. Obviously Igor was there, Mark was there, and I told them what happened, and they were shook, dude. They were like, "Get out of here, bro." And I'm like, "No, man." Like, I was like, I brought it all to the booth. I'm like, they gave me all this, dude. I'm still shocked, you guys, because, it's pretty
That's
insane,
Moto
man. I
though,
mean,
man. I'm telling you, man. It's something about the way you make people feel.
well, I'm no one special, man. I'm just a regular dude, but it's something that, I feel the honor now of there's the rig back at Moto's Cozy Corner. I feel the honor of, this responsibility, man. These guys have put a lot of trust in me to utilize their stuff and to promote it. And I gotta say, I mean, gosh, like on my son, like these pedals, bro, are the greatest ones I've ever used. Like, no offense to any other brands. Like, these Vector X pedals are like straight up amazing. And the wheelbase is fantastic. I'm a big rally guy, so having the round is super important. They did hook me up with the Ruby wheel as well. So yeah, it's pink. I don't care. look at the color in that picture, it's also pink. So this thing is a work of art. It's the GT1 wheel. They just call it the Ruby. And he had asked me at the expo. He goes, "Hey, do you care about using a pink rim?" And I was like, "No." Like, what? Like, no, give me that thing. It was just this
Dude, I
real
have a pink
natural moment.
mouse.
Yeah, dude, like it's there ain't nothing wrong with pink, but and a lot of things are happening with that. So, they gave me an affiliate link. They also gave me a discount code, which is insane, that they asked me. They were like, "Hey, do you want a discount code so you can promote it like for real? That way people can save money if they want to go invest in these items." And it's like, "Yeah, absolutely, man." Which I mean, it's this incredible opportunity like you said earlier though, that you don't need 10,000 people, to have this kind of stuff done. If you're a genuine person and, you are honest with what you want to do, things are going to happen for you. And one big thing, for me is I want to
Appreciate you,
direct
Gil.
people on how to do that. I want to show people that, this is something that is very attainable and this is how you do it. Because if you're really passionate about this, if you really love this the way that I, live and breathe it, then this is something that, you should know how to market yourself. You should know how to, promote your own brand within yourself because that's what you are. You are a brand and you're not doing this for no reason. And market that, lean into that because it's not who you are, but it's something you love to do, and that passion is very believable because it is real. And yeah, man, it's just again the opportunity that I've been given is extraordinary. And I know a lot of people might look at PXN as a more affordable option, which means it might not be as good. And maybe check yourself a little bit, because this is
I mean,
something
you've
that it's
ran
not
them.
about the money. Oh, dude, I've used everything.
Trusty
I mean, quite
Thrusties, you've
literally.
ran Moza, and I mean you've ran
Well,
Moza. Like, we're not
you
talking
also
about
go to
entry
these
level
expos
stuff.
and we're using Sim Magic and
Yep.
SimiCube and yeah, dude, I
Hmm.
put my hands on everything, man. And it's something that this is just as enjoyable. I have zero regret. I'm not upset that I said yes, that I'll promote this product for you guys because it's something that they deserve too. They have made a hell of a product and they deserve the recognition for that, and it's
Hell
also
yeah.
more affordable for a lot of people, man. And
Big
and that's
Yield
the
with
same
the
thing with
five
GOF.
gifted memberships, my
Dude, shout out
guy.
Gil, bro. Shout
Dude, you
out
guys
Gil,
make
bro.
sure you check out Yill's
Another
podcast.
motivation.
We had him. He's another behind the wheel alumni. Check out the man, the myth. That dude is awesome. I love Yill. I love I love his energy, his
Humble, bro.
channel. He is humble and he is an absolutely amazing member of this community. Another reason
Big.
why I'm never gonna leave GT. Like, I'm just gonna pop on the PS5 just to race with those guys. I hope to
You
see
know,
them out here on the PCs.
it's this thing that the more now that I'm diving back into YouTube and the more new faces that I'm seeing in the community, these guys that are starting to stream now, most of them are still playing Gran Turismo. And I'm not gonna lie, dude, like it makes me want to go grab that thing out the closet before Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out and maybe hop back on there, Like, I
Yeah,
mean, it's
yeah.
this thing that's like, dude, everybody's
I
doing it,
see him and
man.
I'm
Like,
like, I gotta go grab the PS5.
I'm probably gonna be terrible at it now, but at the same time, it'd be nice to see everybody again, man. I mean, it's why I started doing this. It was just about the community. It's not about the likes. It's not about the subs. It's not about getting monetized. There was that climb. I had that climb. I had that moment where that was what the focus was. That was what I was leaning into was, growing and getting this, monetization thing. And I got to be honest with you guys, when you get monetized, you're not going to make any money. Unfortunately, like it doesn't happen overnight. Like it's this thing that it's the climb. Once you get monetized, don't stop. Don't think, okay, I got it, I did it, I can slow down. Like, no, keep it going. Keep your foot maybe even harder on the gas now. Cause don't do what I did. I had to do I had to do this now 3 times. I started the channel with a motorcycle and did that, stopped doing it. and started sim racing. Lost probably half of that motorcycle channel in terms of viewers. It was bad. But then gained however many I gained doing sim racing. Then I quit streaming and it falls again, And now that I'm back doing it, and I think from a real true position of passion, that this resurgence is going to be even greater than the climb that I originally had. And there's also a way for me now to do something for people that I just didn't have the knowledge to do when I first started the channel, which is bring brand awareness to you, help people understand how to navigate marketing themselves. And maybe, at the same time, you know, bringing somebody along to one of these shows, and letting them get the behind the scenes experience of, what this life is really like. Noodle and I are going to be doing a tournament this summer for controller players. You play on a controller. Number one, there's nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. Like it's. I'm glad that you're playing these racing games. But whoever wins this tournament is going to get a PD it's a PXN VD6 bundle. We're just going to give it to you. And this isn't the first time we've gifted bases. We've done G29, we've done Fanatec. But it's something that PXN is going to sponsor it, and it's going to be, it's going to be a gift, a straight up gift. And it's, it's to, like I said, it's just to get more people doing this, man. I mean, it's something that everybody
Shout
should
out
do.
PXN, man. I'll tell you what,
Yeah, they're
it's
fantastic.
it's crazy. When we found them, it was almost kind of like they're almost tucked away, in this lane
Yeah,
that we were going to. It was
yeah.
like all these big players were on display, right? And they pay crazy money to be on display, right? And then you go around this corner and you see this booth, and it was just immaculate. Everything they had was beautiful, and it was like,
Hmm.
let's go check this out. And as
Yeah.
soon as we picked it up, it was like, whoa, this is heavier than my wheel. Whoa. And then,
Hmm.
I was playing with you're like, it's like being a kid in a candy store at the expo. What are some of the craziest things you've seen, period, at the expo? Was it, I can't wait for you to see the one in Chicago because you're going to see those SimiCube, but you just went to the Flight Expo. Did they have like the big $250,000 rigs out there?
Actually, so I was not at the Flight Expo, but I was at the Sim Racing Expo.
Oh, the sim
And
racing one.
they did. So they did have, Driven Dynamic was out there, and I mean, all kinds of these, 60,000, 70,000, $100,000 simulators were there. And there was some pretty crazy stuff, man. They had an F1 simulator there that, aside from, because I would say the motorcycle for sure. Like the motorcycle sim really blew me away. But in terms of a vehicle, it was definitely something that the F1 simulator, because you're in an actual F1 cockpit. I mean, it's the full car, and the screen is 6 feet tall, and it wraps all the way around you. So it's this, and it's moving. It's got the actuators in it. So it was this incredible experience of like, without being in VR, that immersion. But there are some things also that I'm not uh, able to discuss a lot of the in a lot of the ways. Certain things are changing, especially with DOF. There are some things actually in the works right now that it's going to blow some people away. They're
That's
already
pretty
the
cool.
most affordable. They're already the most affordable, motion rig on the market, but I think it's about to change again in terms of in a good way. And that's something that me and Mark are working on, kind of behind the scenes with, again, it's all about bringing in people, man. But that motorcycle sim, um, once they put the motor on it and they get off of the spring, it is gonna be just insane, man. Like I have to buy it. I have to
The
buy it.
the coolest
What's
thing
my
about
main
those
game?
experience.
Sorry, I'm
Who's
answering
that?
Gil. Right
No, no,
now,
is
dude.
there?
Right now, it's Assetto Corsa Rally and LMU.
Mhm.
Like that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. Um, definitely, definitely like LMU right now a lot though.
With that experience that I was that's with that experience of going to those expos and riding those rigs and doing all that stuff, I think it's I think after you get that expo, because for me, after I got on all those rigs and I
Hmm.
felt what it was like to be on a Driven Dynamics 80,000 rig, a SimiCube $85,000 rig, a SimLab $125,000 rig. You're on these rigs and you're feeling these feelings, and you're feeling this feedback, the motion, everything. And then you get on a DOF rig and you're like, that's pretty good. That's
Mhm.
pretty damn good, I gotta say.
Yeah.
And this is 80 G's and this is 4, 5, 3, 7, 10 G's, like depending on what your fancy is. And then you get on these wheels and it's like everybody's like Fanatec this. That's how I was. It's got to be Fanatec. I got to have a Fanatec. If I don't have a Fanatec, I'm missing something. I'm missing something. I'm missing something. And what watching you, right? And I'm looking at this, my next wheel solution, because I want to get the static rig set up again. And I'm looking at this and you're like, dude, these guys at PXN are legit. And for me, it's validating because I've watched you go and experience all these things. So if anybody in the channel is actually like wondering or contemplating what direction they should go to, reach out to Moto, reach out to these guys that you see that are actually in the mix, and don't just take the logo's word for it, because you might be selling yourself short. I'm highly looking at the PXN and considering this stuff because of how he speaks on it, and I know how hard he runs his rig. In addition, I want to go back to the point that the rig that he's riding right now, that he uses every day, has been to back-to-back trade shows with hundreds, if not 1,000 people that have ridden it and test drove it.
Yep.
Not experienced, banging off of walls, crashing,
Oh,
running. They
dude.
want to feel it too, right? So
Mhm.
definitely take this man's word. I mean, it's been awesome to kind of just hear you share these experiences and to not be, I got a taste of it, and I'm not, it's. I like to project that out there to people that know I've felt this. Like you should trust me, But having somebody else on the channel who can do that as well, man, has been really cool.
No, I appreciate that, brother. To
I
answer
want to
your
go.
question, Yil,
Oh, go ahead.
Yil,
Yeah.
Yil asked the question. He said, "Do you think it will affect the racing quality when LMU comes to PS5 for console players?" I do. I do think it will. There's a lot of things that with PC, you're going to get more feedback through your system, but that's not the most important thing. I think LMU, kind of like Assetto Corsa Competizione, if it wasn't the best on console, I think that's why they're really pumping the brakes on LMU for console, because they want to make sure it's right. But I do think that in terms of racecraft, real racecraft, it's going to give people that kind of jump to, Gran Turismo is fantastic for learning how to race, learning how to go fast. Sometimes it can be a little bit chaotic. Sometimes it's the most beautiful race you'll ever have, and there's these really magical moments on that game. It's also the greatest looking sim racing game you can buy with your money.
It is.
But
It's pretty
again, I
amazing.
digress. It's gorgeous. But yeah, LMU, in my opinion, man, and humbly, who the hell am I? That's really going to be, that and Assetto Corsa Evo are going to be the future right now. iRacing is always going to be there, and it's always going to be what it is. iRacing is already solid. They know that. Everybody knows that. But for these up and comers, especially for console players, because console players are important, man. Not everybody's
Yeah.
going to get a PC.
Yeah.
We need you guys, and it'd be awesome to have people on LMU that are on console.
I mean, there's
That's
some
when it's like,
real talent. And there's some real talent. And
Mhm.
I want to
Oh,
give a
dude,
little bit of credit to GT because I don't have any real experience outside of GT. And, you've seen like I've been able to kind of adapt to iRacing pretty quickly. You've seen me in action like when I went over to the Moza booth and I set the record on their booth, jumping on a
yeah,
load cells for the first time, trying stuff for the first time, and I'm like, whoa, and that was maybe the first validation that I got that, hey, you might be quick, and if you try and you have the confidence to try these other simulators, they might not be as intimidating as people try to come off as. But there is a culture that in sim racing that tries to adhere to a real life standard. When you go on a
yeah,
track in real life, you're not going and doing donuts. You're not stopping on the side of the track. There's things that you need to know. There's etiquette to this that people in
yeah,
iRacing and LMU and Assetto Corsa, they adhere to. I remember the first time I did iRacing, I stopped and paused the game. And I was in the middle of the track and I caused a pileup, and everybody's just going off on me like, you can't do that. And it's like, I didn't know. You know what I mean? And then if you want to
mm,
learn black flags, meatballs, pit limiters, fuel
yep,
strategies, tire strategies, aero, there's so much more. And Gran Turismo is beautiful because it lets everybody race. And yeah,
yeah,
there are levels to it. There are aliens that are out there, but I do challenge those aliens to take their shuttle to another game and see if they're that damn good. Because one
yeah. I
thing that
mean,
does almost trigger me is like, so many people get to this point of creation where they're just self-righteous. They're like they can make no mistake. But I do want to see you transcend the game and show me what you can do in another community. Show me
Yeah.
if you're the expert in another community. Be careful who you follow and trust, because again, if you don't see people willing to put their reputation and take those risks and put that reputation on the line, it might not be that fast.
Mm, that's for sure, man. I mean, and you know, I would say, I mean, coming off of Gran Turismo, once I got my PC, I mean, I knew I bought it for a reason. I wanted to get into PC sim racing, and I wanted to really feel, at the time, I think you can see the Moza right there. I had the R12 at the time. I I I just wanted to feel what it could do. Like that was the big thing, was I wasn't really getting as much as it was actually offering me on console. But with going over to the PC side of things, it has definitely unlocked all of that. And
Yeah.
I think with how serious I wanted to start taking it, because that was a decision I made. It wasn't outside influence. It wasn't anything like that. It was like, dude, I really love this. Like, I love sim racing, but if I'm gonna go into a PC, then dude, I need to really actually learn about what is racing and like how it's done, why they do it certain ways. Like you talk about etiquette, knowing the flags, knowing how to rejoin safely, knowing how to go through a corner without using another car as a bumper car or an extra brake. I mean, like these things are important because in
Maturity to
Gran
back out, maturity not to
Yes,
try
knowing
and believe that you
yeah,
can do anything,
yeah, not
racing to
just
your
saying,
limits.
good luck everybody else, I mean, it's like, no, like you really it forces you to think. And I mean, and strategize, not just think, but really strategize about, I have a video on my YouTube right now it's a P12 to P3 at Spa in LMU. And you'll hear me constantly talking to myself the whole time because I'm trying to pick apart, how to do this and how to navigate and, how to not make mistakes and let other people make these mistakes. And, it's that evolution, I think, where it's like, okay, Gran Turismo taught me so much, and it did. It really did. But now I'm taking it more serious. And once I start taking it more serious, that's a whole nother community. Like you said, there's a whole nother group of people out there that they've been doing this for years and they're really good at it. And I now get to relearn everything again, because when I did go into LMU, I was freaking terrible. Like, God, it was not good. Like, it was not good. And that was kind of why I went to rally so hard, because I got off Gran Turismo, wasn't very good at LMU, and I was really good at rally games, and I was like, well, there it is. That's what we're going to focus on. Um, but now that, the racecraft is honed and I'm definitely getting better, it's all about that. It's about, how much more can I learn? And I learn something new every day, and it's always through
Yeah.
failure. If
Oh
I if
yeah.
I don't do something right,
See you,
that's
Chris.
how I'm learning it. Oh, shout out Chris, bro. But yeah, man, everything through failure. You don't win the race, learn from that. Learn
Yeah.
why you dove in a little too far there.
Humility
Really
will
think
get you
about it.
so
Yeah,
much
dude.
farther.
And at the end of the day, guys, the biggest thing to realize is it's a game. It's a game. We're all doing this to literally have fun, and I get that it can be frustrating at times. It's this thing that you're having a good time, you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, and then somebody takes you out or something like that, and it completely just fries your mind. But at the end of the day, you always get to do it again. You didn't actually just wreck a $400,000 car, like thank God, like, I mean, it's that, you hit that
In
wall. Why'd you
motion,
hit
it'll
the
feel like
wall?
it
Don't do it
sometimes.
again. Dude, I've been rocked. Actually, my first
I've
race
been
in iRacing,
rocked.
you can ask Eric B about this. Man, driving, everything's going great, and this dude just he did not hit his brake. I mean, like it was full tilt. I'm going about as slow as the car's going to go through an apex before I get back on the fuel, and this dude just buries me, and
It's
I almost
brutal.
got tossed out of the seat. Like I don't have the seatbelt on it right now, but I should actually be wearing that thing because Yeah, if you're not expecting it, bro, it'll take you for a ride, like a real one.
Yeah, dude, I've had some moments for sure. I was actually racing yesterday and I slid off and Summit, and down Summit is just trees, like lines of trees. And I'm like sliding and I see myself in the camera like wincing for this hit. And I was like, see that? I mean, it's real, man. It'll rattle my knees together. I've been rear-ended and then, go forward and I'm like, oh man, I woke up the next day like, what did I even do? I was playing video games yesterday. I was like, oh yeah, yeah.
Yep.
But these things are
Oh, I've
serious, man. And for in home, like if it's something we've had the conversation, like, would I invest in this if I just had an extra 5K laying around?
hmm,
Probably not. If I had an
mhm.
extra 20K laying around, yes.
Sure. Oh,
Because
yeah.
because it is such an extreme addition to so many other things that you can do. Like I just added eye tracking and it's like, whoa, this is amazing. I think a lot of the people that have watched it, like, man, I got to get that because it opens up my screen. It opens up my immersion level. You know what I mean? And then it was like
Yeah.
the same thing going from the CSL to a DD. It's just like, whoa, this is crazy. So you can keep adding those whoa factors. I think haptics is very important. Once you add that, you're going to start feeling the car. It's going to trigger something else. Once you add DD, it's going to trigger something else. Once you add motion, it's really going to put it all together. And I'd recommend, as far as in home, I mean, D-Box is out there, Moses dropping their motion. DOF has a different way of doing things. I'll tell you that. They have a very in their system is different. You're not being shaken. You're being moved. The motion is
Moved.
legit.
Yeah.
You're moving in this direction. You're not being shaken to believe that, hey, this wheel is off the ground, so it's gonna pop you up real quick. It's this angle, because this rig moves in so many different ways. This angle of the rig is going to throw you up like this. And so we were talking about it last night, driving with and without motion, what you miss and don't miss. And me and you are
Yeah.
true believers that this has actually made me a better racer
Oh,
because of
100%.
being able to feel that.
100%. Absolutely. Um, yeah, it is something that, in the beginning, it's obviously going to slow you down quite a bit just because y- you're going from driving with both your hands to now driving with your rear end, and you're going to feel that. And but in terms of ability and again, I just can't do it now. I
Yeah,
really can't.
it's hard. It's hard.
It's a blessing and it's a curse.
And
How much
honestly,
is that DOF reality?
was
To
it
answer
Newt?
Newt's question, they start at 14.99 for the two, and they go all the way up to 7,000, my friend, um, depending on what you want. So they have numerous models, 2, 3, 4, and 6. I
Performance
would definitely say
models.
that I would say the 6 is more for flight than racing. However, yes, you can race on it, but definitely made for flight. The 4 is going to be racing centered, but then at the same time can do flight. So you guys are actually going to see flight on the channel pretty soon. PXN, shout out PXN. They're sending me a bunch of flight stuff. So that's going to be sick when that gets here because I have zero experience aside from
I know
CES
everything's set
when
up for my
we,
rig to have flight. I got all the brackets, like DOF hooked me up with all that stuff. So I definitely need to start looking into the flight realm because you're really unlocking the max potentialities. But with flight, you gotta get VR. You gotta get VR, guys.
yeah,
The
that's
whole
kind of a
time,
must.
if you watch our videos at CES, the whole time guys are flying like this. Like you're moving this way, but you're looking over here because you need that. I don't even, that's a whole nother ball game. I hope we get to go down that journey. Really excited. But if you
Oh,
guys
it's gonna be
definitely
sick.
check out DOF for your flight stuff. Anybody's on the flight stuff, check out Flight Simulator. Awesome guy on Instagram. Has an absolutely amazing
Yeah.
setup. He also has a DOF rig. Um,
Hmm.
really, really good peoples. Well, at the end of the show, man, I like to, focus on the community a little bit, focus on chat a little bit. If chat has any
Yeah.
questions, please throw those out there. We've covered a lot of topics. We've been going 2.5 hours. I knew it was going to be a banger. The energy is always lit. This is like a normal conversation with me and Moto on a daily basis. Like, honestly, like Misa walked in, I was like, my bad. She was like, no. It's like, what's different? But if you guys have questions, 925 Moto, the name, right? We kind of know
Yeah.
where it came from, but you poked on something about changing your channel's niche, right? You went from motorcycles to, to this and gradually got into sim racing. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about why keeping the name, how 925 Moto has become, this we don't say it's who we are, but it's an extension of ourselves.
Yeah, it's definitely this, I call Moto almost a character, because it's not I'm Jesse, I'm not Moto. However, when I'm racing, or when I'm on my motorcycle, that's what everybody called me, and when I first started the channel, it was simply because my area code was 925 and I rode a motorcycle. And I didn't, I wasn't very clever. It was just, yeah, I live in the 925 and here we go. I'm Moto.
See, that's
Um
funny. I thought I knew. I didn't know. I thought it was actually like the 925 Moto, like the bike, but it's your area code. That
no,
makes
no, it
so
was
much. I was
literally
like,
it was
I've
my
never
it was
seen a 925cc motorcycle, but he must have had
no.
like the coolest one.
No, it wasn't too original. But at the same time, it was something that when I transitioned over, um so many people. I had already had over 300 subscribers, which isn't a ton, but I had a pretty loyal base that they all called me Moto. So at that time, it was like, well, I don't think I'm going to start a new channel. I think a lot of the people that watch me ride a motorcycle would absolutely be down with watching me sim race. And a lot of them were. Some of them weren't, but a lot of them were. And it was just that easy transition that I didn't have to change who I was being, on YouTube because, in terms of like I said, Moto's a character. He might be a character in terms of that's not my actual name, but in terms of the genuineness, who I am, how I act, the things I say, my attitude, that is me. 925 Moto is Jesse. It's the other way around. Jesse's not 925 Moto.
Right.
Um, I hate to talk about myself in the third person like an absolute arrogant person. But at the same time, it's this thing that, you know, I am evolving Moto. Moto's evolving as I evolve because I've evolved as a man, as a husband, as a father, since I've started doing this. And as I change, that persona needs to change as well. And now I have that avenue of like I say, of why, why am I doing this? Why am I streaming? For what? I don't have the same viewership that certain guys do. I don't have that same, there's not 100 people watching me. There's not 40 people watching me. I hover between 15 to 20. But it's this loyal base that I love, and I want to hook these guys up, man. I want to let them know that market yourself. Yil just said everything in his room is sponsored by his wallet. Doesn't have to be. You know, Genuinely doesn't have to be. You have the following and the skill set that, dude, like, don't even get me started. Like, good God, we could change things in that aspect of stuff. Does my friends and family know I'm doing YouTube? Yes, they do actually. I don't shy it. I don't hide it. A lot of people hide it. A lot of people are embarrassed by the fact that they sim race, or they think that people are going to look at them like goofy. But my parents, for instance, my mom and dad love that I do this. My sisters, same thing. They love that I do this. People that I went to high school with know I do this. It's this thing that yeah, man, I love doing it. So I'm not ashamed of it at all. I'm absolutely in love with the community, with the sport, and it is a sport. Uh, and it's this thing that yeah, man, they all know. It's not about the numbers. No, it's not. No, it's not. Definitely not about the numbers, my man. But they do help. I'll say that.
Oh, I was on. What's up, girl? Yes, you can go in a hot tub. You guys need to be quiet.
Beecham,
We're
what's up,
family, man.
brother?
What's
How
up,
you
Beecham? Good
doing?
to see you, brother. Yeah, the great thing about coming late is you can just go back and watch it again, man. It's been an
Bingo,
amazing
dog.
episode. I think
You're here,
this
bro.
we're pushing for the longest one, which has been absolutely cool. Everybody who's
Oh
hung
wow.
out has been absolutely amazing. 2.5 hours will fly by when you're having fun. Mr. 925 Moto, um, And it's funny because we call each other Moto and Viking still because it's a habit.
Yeah.
But
What up,
Jesse
B?
and
Yeah.
Travis, we got big goals, big dreams. Viking
man.
and Moto are going to be here to support the community in as many ways as we can. That is the mission. That is the goal. The more we get supported, and we're trying to do this. The world is awesome, but racing is growing in America. Like it, and it's, if you watch the numbers, sim racing is skyrocketing. And I think the UK, I loved Rory, Hogston, Kizzy, Marley, that whole group. We got that here too, y'all. And if we rally together, we can really make some amazing things. Like George, shout out to George. He has brought, really the start of the Sim Gaming Expo trend. Like we're going into year 2, September. I hope you guys are there. I'm going to try to be there with all my heart. But he's created, a place where sim racers can come and be and meet. And I highly encourage people to get out there. It's worth it. Come out for a day, come out for a couple of days, try the rigs. You're going to see Moto out there with DOF. You're going to see Moto out there with PXN. You're going to see Mr. GT out with VRS. You're going to see Matt Malone. You're going to see MX5 all day. You're going to see Eric be the realist. You're going to see all kinds of people that you're going to want these connections. It's special. It's like a big reunion for us. It's our event. There's so many things that happen after the dinners, the meetings, the conversation, standing outside, walking through the hotels, like meeting people on the elevators, like on the flights to and from. It really starts the moment you leave, and document it.
Yep.
Put the content out there, man. Believe in yourself. Like we want to see it. We want to see it. And again, stop worrying about the next follower. We have amazing people already here. And just go back to the beginning of the episode. If I was sitting in front of a dozen people, how nervous I would be to like play video games in front of them. And we have dozens, and some people have hundreds, and it's really amazing, man. I appreciate you being here, brother. This is really
Of course,
special.
man. Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Noodle asked a question, and it was actually a really good one. And if I could answer it real quick before
Yeah.
we end it, he said, if you had to start over, what would you do differently? And God, that's a good question. I as bumpy as it's been bumpy a lot of the way. I love the road that I'm on. I love the struggle. I love the challenge, and I love the way it forced me to adapt, and learn. But if I really had to start over and do it different, I would say that if I could go back and talk to myself, I would tell myself that, relax, because like I
I was
said
just
earlier,
gonna say I wouldn't have been as
I love
frustrated.
I love winning, but at the same time, relax, because those are going to come. All that success is going to come. No one is good at anything right away. And I mean, there's some savants out there that can do some stuff, but most of the time it takes time. You got to put in those, what do they call it? 10,000 hours,
10,000
before you're a
hours, baby.
professional in anything, and it really takes that. And be patient, relax, be patient. Because it's all going to happen because you want it to. It will happen because you want it to, because you'll make it happen. But again, I love the road I'm on, and I like the struggle, and I'm a very, humbled by it. But yeah, man, relax, guys.
Advice for
It's all
starters.
going to happen.
What do you think?
Relax, guys. It's all going to happen. Advice for starters, man.
Do it, man. Get out there.
Don't be influenced by what other people are doing.
Yeah.
Don't think because person A does this, then I must also do that. Be original. Be yourself. Find out who you are, and then be that always. Don't be what somebody wants you to be. I told Viking that the other day on his stream. You don't have to be the clown while you're racing. They are here to watch you race, not to watch you juggle and race. It's this, be you, because that's why they're there. Always be you, and people will fall in love with it because they'll know that you're being honest. People are not dumb. They can tell when someone's fake, and there's plenty of them out there. But be adventurous. Don't be afraid to dip your toe. Hot Rod just said it. Don't be scared to try new things. For sure.
Slinging pizzas.
Trust yourself. I stepped away from Gran Turismo to go do something else. A lot of people told me not to, but I did it anyway. And here we are.
Right?
And that's all I can say.
Find
You
your
know,
way, like
trust
Mr.
yourself.
GT78 said.
Trust yourself.
Mama
your way.
mentality. Love it. Love it. Love it. Who's the GOAT? Who's the GOAT?
Are you asking me?
Who's your GOAT?
My GOAT? Michael Jordan.
It's not even a question.
If we're
Not even
talking
a question.
basketball, like MJ, bro, what are you talking about? I grew up in the
Yeah.
90s. Like,
Michael Kobe.
be like
Michael
Mike.
Kobe.
Be like Mike and Kobe. And Kobe knows everything he knows because of Michael Jordan.
Sick.
I could talk all day. We could have
I
another
love
2.5 hour podcast over
Love
this.
this guy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys. Put your GOAT in the chat. We love you guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out here. Shout out to
pleasure.
USA and the World Cup. Shout out to everybody who's watching the World Cup right now. Shout out to your teams. I see France is out there doing their thing. I see Argentina's out there doing their thing. I don't think anybody scored on Mexico yet. I was in the barbershop the other day. Shout out to the cut. Jose, my barber. Appreciate you, dog. Looking fresh today. Moto went out and got him. Shout out your barber too, Moto. Do you have a barber?
Yeah, hey, I do have a barber. Shout out Suki. She's been cutting my hair for 4 years. She's the best. $16 haircuts. You can't complain. She does it good too.
Damn.
Does it good.
Shout out to Suki.
Shout out
Suki
Suki,
getting
bro.
it done. Shout out to the
$16, dog.
ladies.
$16.
Cassie, we love you. Thank you for letting me borrow Moto for this time. Misa, thank you for supporting, keeping the house clean. My house is about to erupt if I don't get
Shout
up
out
off
Misa,
of here,
bro.
man. I got some daddy stuff to do.
No,
But
you're good, brother.
again, brother,
You're
I
good.
appreciate you so much. I'll let you say goodbyes to the community, man. All these people are here for you.
I appreciate it, man. And hey, guys, number one, everybody that stopped by today, you guys are legends. Number one, I love all of you. I've recognized almost every single name, which is super awesome. And there's been a lot of people in here. Shout out to Noodle, number one, my partner in crime, my co-founder of Danger Close. I would not be who I am without your guidance. He's a big influence in my life. Shout out Eric B. the Realist. Shout out Nuggenetics. Shout out the entire RSR squad again. You guys, I love all of you. I appreciate all of you. I'd do anything for any of you guys. And to everybody else that stopped by, like I said, as a mental health advocate, if you need to talk about it, talk about it. It's important that you do. You're loved, you're valued, you're heard, and we need you. And yeah, guys, I really appreciate everybody sincerely coming and hanging out with me today, asking the questions you've asked. Hopefully I see you on some live streams in the future. I'll be streaming tonight, I think, in a little while. Wanted to get something in, I think. I might not. I don't know. I'm kind of hungry, so I might just kick back a little bit. But regardless, I love and appreciate all of you, and I'm going to see you around the bend. Have a good one, everybody.
Appreciate you, brother. I'm going to let you go and get back to your fam. Thank you, man. It's been an honor and a pleasure.
Brother.
Appreciate you,
Have a
big
good one,
dog.
brother. Bye.
Wow, y'all. Wow. 2 hours and 40 minutes. That was a real pleasure. And community, you guys came out and went hard today for coming back. I know I haven't been on as much as I need to be to be of service to you guys, but I really love you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. Moto has become like a brother to me. We fight like brothers. We inspire each other like brothers. An amazing person, amazing story. If you can, go back and watch. Definitely go back and see the person that this guy is, the unselfish serviceman that he's been. Go listen to the stories about the people that inspired him. Listen to the journey and know that you can do it yourself. Like, guys, we're not big channels. We're representing the small guy, but we believe in ourselves and we believe in each other and we push each other. And you got guys out there like Noodle and Mr. GT78 and OP and Hot Rod, and you got Root. What's up, big dog? You got people out there inspiring folks. Like, listen, you can do it. You can do it. Whatever you want to do. If it's sim racing, cool. If it's life, cool. You want to hike a mountain, climb a mountain, you got to start. You got to take one step first, right? So if you sit there and you tell yourself you can't do it, or you listen to the naysayers, it's probably never going to happen. But I'll be here for you. VKG, you got a friend in me always. You got a friend in Moto, and I'll tell you what, guys. Until next time. Let me find my mouse. Until next time, y'all. Love you guys. Viking King is out.
Behind the wheel. Episode 31, the original, the OG. Pop, 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 pop. Never got a copy too clever to mimic. I've been a lane, then I finish it in a minute. Here come the king of thunder, load the war on the dash. Viking King gaming, and I'm built for the crash. 925 Moto, leather, grit and flame. Danger close, racing, say my name. Like, say my name. Lightning and thunder when I roll through the fog. Sim racing brothers, I don't break, I just hog. Hands stay steady, eyes on the line. Steel in my chest and lightning on my spine. One more turn, then I let it go. You hear that roar before I even show. King of thunder, King of thunder. Go to war, behind the wheel, behind the wheel. Episode 31, episode 31. OG, OG, never a copy. OG, OG, never a copy. OG, OG, never a copy. Woke up in a new Bugatti, shotgun in the seat, riding with the heat on. I don't miss a beat in the DOF, no thotty in a frame, just to roll the code. And the pressure in the game, I came from the sim, now the real thing trembles. Palm to the wheel as the whole pack levels. Back in King Gaming, got a cold front grin. If you walk that ground, better all in, all in. Hands stay steady, eyes on the line. Steel in my chest and lightning on my spine. One more turn, then I let it go. You hear that roar before I even show. King of thunder, King of thunder. Lord of war, behind the wheel, behind the wheel. Episode 31, episode 31. OG, OG, never a copy. OG, OG, never a copy. OG, OG, never a copy. Black top prophecy, white knuckle truth. I don't chase the crowd, I break right through. 925 Moto, feel that engine bite. Danger close, racing and I'm gone by night. King of